Going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Antstroworld Live. But today kicks off a 3-week event. We got Antstroworldmania, everybody. We had this in the works for a little bit. We were planning this for a little bit, but now it's finally come to fruition. But before we even begin with the festivities, with the greatness, just want to say it's been 1 year since we've done the podcast. Since we started the podcast, made a lot of progress, a lot of memories, a lot of legendary streams, a lot of legendary Jeopardies, the whole 9 yards, and I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you for everybody that's subscribed, that watches, that's even a part of the streams. We've made some good progress over the last year, and we're going to continue to keep growing, get bigger, more opportunities away. But let's get right into everything. So, night one today, we're going to be doing main events, our top 10 favorite Mania main events list. So we got everybody here, got Smooth, DZ, Deontay, Yael. We're going to be going over our top 10 favorite Mania main events. And then we're also going to talk about our favorite Mania moments, favorite Mania matches of all time. And at the very end, we're going to do a WrestleMania tier list where we're going to be ranking Manias 1 through 40 on the tier list from S to F. So let's get right into this. So I'm going to have Smooth start off first. He's going to give his list 10 to 1, and then he's going to explain why the number one main event on his list is his favorite. So I'm going to have everybody mute, and I'll let him begin.
All right. What's going on, everybody? This is Smooth here. You already know. I will be going over my top 10 main events for WrestleMania. Mind you, this was not an easy list.
I just want to clarify something real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, but these are favorites. I just want everybody to understand these are just our favorites. This is not what we think are the top 10 of all time. These are our personal list. Just to put that out there.
Little disclaimer right there. Thank you, Ant. So I'm gonna be starting off with number 10, and that's Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan versus Edge in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 37 Night 2 for the Universal Championship. Roman went crazy in that match, and dude stacked both men. He stacked both men and pinned them and kept the title. I mean, that was insane. That shit was crazy. And pretty much all those three at one point were going to retire because of their injuries, but it didn't stop them. So they kept pulling it off, which is great. So that's my number 10. Number 9, I got Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 37 Night 1 for, I believe it was the SmackDown Women's Championship. To me as my favorite women's WrestleMania match of all time right there. And it was just having two black women main event WrestleMania was history. That's amazing. Amazing right there. Without a doubt. And the craziest moment during that match was when Bianca whipped Sasha right there with that with her braid. I heard that shit like I was there. It felt like I was there in person when I saw when she did that shit. That was insane right there. Great match right there. Great match. Both women put on a banger that night. I loved it. Number 8, I got John Cena versus The Rock. Once in a lifetime at WrestleMania 28. Both icons from each era. One from the Attitude Era, one from Ruthless Aggression, going at it against each other. And it was my first WrestleMania I watched, and it was a really good match. It was a great match. I loved it. 2 icons going at it at WrestleMania. Really great match. Number 7, I have to go with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 for the undisputed WWE Championship. That match, oh man. I never thought I would put that match in my top 10, but I actually really liked it. Both of the history that these two had during that match. Like Roman was champion for like 4 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 4 years. And it was really good. All right, number 6, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 31 for the WWE Championship. Great match, and it has to the century happened right there. If you know, you know. Number 5, we're in my top 5 now. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 23. Number 4, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H versus Chris Benoit at WrestleMania 20 for the World Heavyweight Championship. Number 3, Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17. And for my number 1, I got Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Now, I have that as my number 1 because Shawn put his career on the line, first of all. That was huge. That was a huge moment. He put his career on the line right there. As a kid, I was shocked. I was like, damn, Shawn really put his career on the line for this match. And then I watched the match, and then both wrestlers set the whole roof on fire. Amazing match. A great match. Everything about that match was amazing. The winner of that match was I was skeptical who was going to win that match when I first watched it, but Taker won that match, but damn. Shawn retired, bro. Shawn really retired, bro. That was because after that match. And that's my top 10.
I like that list. I kind of suspect you were probably going to put that as your number 1, either that match or the other one from 25. But solid list. I like that list. My list.
I had 25, but then I rewatched both matches, and I thought one was better than the other.
But 25 didn't main event though.
Yeah, it wasn't a main event.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Literally the match.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh yeah. That's right.
In my defense, I felt like that was the proper main event because what happened after that couldn't really top that match because the match that actually happened after that was shit. It was Triple H and Randy Orton.
bro. Which
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy
Oh
because
yeah.
freaking Sean and Taker was like, "Fuck it, let's go put on a 5-star match, and then
Yeah.
just shit on the main event."
Because it
That's
was like,
what the fuck they did, bro.
cause it was like, at the office, you put us here.
That
Exactly.
match
And then
before
like,
too.
the
That's
thing that's crazy, Triple H versus Randy Orton had amazing build up, but that shit was just
Match
it just
and
fucked up circumstances.
Yep.
Cause like
you know
the build up to that match was fire as fuck.
The build up to that match was fire. The promo
The
package was
promos were
fire.
fire.
And
Fucking
the
that
match
moment,
itself delivered.
that moment when Randy and Legacy came out over here talking about they're about to take out Vince McMahon and shit like that, and then Shane comes out, and then all you hear is Triple H's music, and this nigga got a sledgehammer in his hand. Bro, I was hyped. I'm like, this nigga about to go ham. I'm like, bro.
I think the only problem was
Like,
the
yeah,
match.
the build up was fire, but the match was
The
just
match that
disappointing.
they did, like you got like a blood fucking feud. Like these niggas are trying to kill the fuck out of each other. They should have did a different type
Exactly.
of match.
and also it's like
I'm telling
up
you,
to
it
that
could've-
point, like also up to that point, they was already feuding for like 3 or 4 months before that match.
Exactly.
So we were already like, it was the same match.
Like why the fuck are y'all doing a
yeah.
one-on-one?
Because
Like
I think Triple H had said that he wanted a Hell in a Cell match for that feud to end off the feud, but Vince said nah, Vince said nah, we're just gonna do no holds barred, and it's like, hey, y'all did a no holds barred like a couple months ago. I'm like,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
they
but
could have just
still-
ended it on a
you know what I'm
like.
saying?
If you
But
want a
still,
rubber match,
they-
a feud ending thing, you put it in a Hell in a Cell. That's how you end all the feuds. They fumbled that.
for example, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got a point.
But all right,
I would assume
on to the
TV
next.
is next.
Yep, DZ is next, so I'm gonna let him take the floor. I'm gonna mute
All
everybody.
right. First thing first, you know, already said it. Welcome to Antstroworldmania, the very first one, and more is to come. You know, so here's my top 10 favorite main events. Now, mind you, it's my list, my preference, just like everybody on this stream as well. So, number 10, it might be a little bit controversial. I got Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 39. Me personally, I feel like in terms of like in-ring work, 39 was better than 40. I feel like 40 only gets hyped up just because of the whole in-game persona and in the match. All right. Number 9, I have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. I feel like going back and watching that match, I think a lot of people didn't grasp the fact of how crazy it was that Seth Rollins cashed in at Mania, because at that point they already made it a whole thing of, oh, cashing at Mania until he actually did it. So it was just like, I say surreal to see. I say that. Number 8, I got Edge versus Undertaker WrestleMania 24. I feel like that's a underrated main event that a lot of people don't talk about a lot. And one of the better Taker Mania matches, very underrated. All right, number 7, I have Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, WrestleMania 37, night 1. I feel like when it comes to like the two women's matches that main evented Mania, I felt this was the better one. I definitely feel like the triple threat definitely, like the build definitely carried that match. Wow. And also this match, a lot of people didn't expect it to main event, but they got the spot and they showed why they deserved the spot. Number 6, I have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. I feel like, first off, having a tag team match main event Mania is unheard of. But that build definitely deserved it, and plus even the match was very good. A lot of times when it comes to builds and matches, the matches tend to fall short. But this match definitely delivered, and I'll probably say that's probably my top 3 favorite tag team matches ever. Now we're in the top 5. The top 5 is probably the only match from that era. I have Rock versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17. I forgot that Mania 19 wasn't the main event, but this is definitely the best match out of the 3, especially because what happened at the end and the shock value it had to like the audience. Number 4, another match I feel people don't talk about enough. Shawn Michaels versus John Cena at WrestleMania 23. At that point, Shawn was already synonymous with Mr. WrestleMania, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that match enough. So I feel I should give it its flowers. All right, now we're in the top 3. At number 3, I have Cena versus Rock 1 at Mania 28, just because at the time, as a child, and this is the way they built it, it was this whole once in a like it felt like it felt generational, especially like So I got that in my top 3. Number 2, I have Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista at Mania 30. This match could have easily been number 1 just because of the moment and how we got to that point. But I also feel like number 1 kind of set the bar for Mania main events. And my number 1 is Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. That's because of the fact of, like we said earlier, coming off the match they had a year ago, it kind of feels surreal to like trying to top that match. But somehow, in my opinion, I feel like they did. And I feel like at this point, that still is the standard because the main events. Amazing storytelling, amazing match. Obviously, you got 2 of the GOATs, one against Grandstand Jamal. And that's my top 10.
That was a good top 10.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That was solid.
I wasn't expecting nobody to put Edge and Taker, but I definitely agree with you because I feel like when it comes to Taker matches, that's probably top 3 for me. And what's crazy, 24 was it was a alright Mania. I know the rain kind of fucked everything up with everything. I mean, it had its moments. You had a Money in the Bank ladder match, and then you had Rick and HBK, and then I felt like that was literally the best match on that show, and it was definitely worthy of the main event.
Mm-hmm. It's well deserved for the main event. Now, respect for having Usos versus Sami Zayn and KO on that list. One of the greatest tag team matches ever, in my opinion.
I feel like that match, like, even though at the time it got its flares, but like even like looking at it current day, I don't think people really like. But Mania 39 in general doesn't get talked about enough. Like
39 deserves all the flowers in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I'm a little bit biased because I was there, but
what's crazy, that shit happened 2 years ago, bro, and it feels like it's forgotten already.
Yeah.
2 years ago today. Like, it's insane how time flies, bro. Like, that show on paper, you may have looked at it and went like, oh, probably, it's going to be a stinker. But when it actually came to fruition, it was near perfect. Near perfect.
Like that was like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, this is the best Mania in such and such years. I feel like that was the best Mania since Mania 31.
Yeah.
Just like when it came to like the stage, just the feeling, the presentation, the matches. Like,
I mean, it was in LA too. But on top of that, I mean, you had the past few stinkers of Mania, like 30,
32.
yeah, 32, 33 was okay. You had 34, 35 was too fucking long.
And the thing, bro, like 34, like that first half of that show, it could have been generational. Like no bullshit.
They fumbled. They completely fumbled in the first half of that show, easily.
Like that first like hour where you open up the whole triple threat between Seth, Finn, and Miz, which is a match people didn't expect to be that good. And even the match with Cedric and Mustafa in the pre-show, like that first half, if you would just watch the first half, you could have told me that would have been generational.
And you went to that U.S. title match. What was kind of
wrong winner.
I think it was a triple threat tag team match. That kind of like they had the Usos, New Day. I think the Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers, yeah.
Then you had the Cena and Taker squash match.
Fun fact, I just read about that. They were supposed to go like 20, 25 minutes.
This day.
They were supposed to go longer than what they had, but I guess they got cut due to time constraints or something like that. Or I forgot what it was. Vince wanted it short. I forgot what it was.
Because the thing is, they were supposed to,
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, because they were supposed to go a cool 15 minutes at best. And then I guess due to time constraints and other matches having to be longer, they had to cut their time.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know if I could see 15 minutes of that match. Not gonna lie.
I say at most 10.
Yeah, because they're both past their primes. I mean, Cena. 2018 Cena could have still put on a good match, but that was 2018 Taker. That nigga is way past his prime, bro. Like,
yeah, because he was getting up around age. He was slowing down. You couldn't do half the things that he was able to do like 7 years prior. Like, he was just slowing down.
And literally, that last year, he just put a shitty ass fucking main event with fucking Roman.
Yeah.
I sadly watched that pay-per-view.
We all did. I did. I was hyped for it, and then once we got to the final match, the main event, yeah, I was disappointed. Mania 33 has so much potential to be good.
I was sitting there. I'm like, you know what? It's the Undertaker. I'm gonna give it a shot. I hope Undertaker wins. And I left that show feeling very sad and very disappointed.
Oh yeah, I was super disappointed. I mean, the Hardys returning and everything was cool, but then once we got later into the show, yeah, it was just a stinker.
I wasn't mad
Yeah,
about the match.
I hated that
match because it's like, okay, you can solidify Roman, and my idea was, okay, Roman turns heel.
Yeah, they should have turned him heel around that time, but they didn't.
Literally,
Which was
the Raw after Mania.
It was
Literally.
like literally,
Yeah.
The minute
the
this man
opportunity was
said,
like this, bro. Hold on, it was like this, literally hands out, like literally.
Yes.
Like, give,
Bro,
They wouldn't even let that man talk. Like,
and the minute this man said, "This is my yard now," is the minute this motherfucker should have turned.
exactly.
now I will say this though, I feel like a Mania that people didn't expect to be good, but was good as fuck was Mania 38.
Yep.
Real shit.
Yeah.
Mania 38 was pretty fucking good.
It
I
had,
mean, like if you look at it for like a match card standpoint, like obviously he had those stickers and shit, but like I feel like night one
was good.
Yeah.
Night two
was questionable, very questionable. Night two.
Night 2 was questionable.
Because I'm thinking of like because there's obviously more matches on 38 that were good than bad. Like obviously we have Bianca, Becky, Seth, and Cody returning Cody Rhodes. Even though I don't like the guy, that return was really cool.
Stone Cold and KO. That was actually a good ass match.
Sami Zayn and
That was
Johnny
a
Knoxville.
great match. I liked it.
Sammy
Stone
and
Cold
Johnny
versus Taylor.
Knoxville, like literally, like we thought that was gonna be a shitty match, but it was a
surprisingly-
comedic relief.
bro,
Great match.
Surprisingly enough. Speaking on 33 too, the only good the good match that I remember from that show, surprisingly enough, is AJ Styles versus Shane.
Bro, Shane and AJ, did they open the show?
They opened.
They
Yeah,
opened the show.
Look,
that was the opening match.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
You know something so crazy about that as well? That's AJ's best Mania match.
That's literally his best Mania match.
Like,
Because
He's
let's
literally
look
his
at
best Mania match.
Well,
let's
AJ
look at the
versus
track
Shane?
record.
And look,
Let's look
and
at the
just
track
remind
record.
you, the minutes he had fought, he has fought Chris Jericho, he has fought Kevin Owens, Edge, Taker. Well, obviously you know that match ain't going. Yeah, like just those names alone. You tell me the best match out of that is Shane McMahon.
It's Shane
Yeah,
McMahon.
because what? He debuted in 2016, so obviously Mania 32 Jericho. Mania 33 was Shane. 34 was the stinker with Shinsuke. 35 was the mediocre match with Randy Orton. 36 was the Boneyard match, which I'm not going to count because that was cinematic. 37 was the tag match with Omos versus New Day. 38 was the disappointing match with Edge. And then 40 was with LA Knight, which was a solid match, but not better than Shane. So literally Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles was AJ Styles' best match.
The reason I have to say to this day, being an AJ Styles fan, that Shane was able to pull out the best Mania match out of every single Mania match that AJ had is insane to me.
I'm
Mac
disappointed. I'm
fucking
disappointed
Ward.
because this is my hometown boy. My man's from Gainesville, Georgia. But my thing is, I'm gonna blame it on Vince because literally, you could have had better type of storylines for him going up to Mania. Like, look,
Exactly.
kudos to the whole Shinsuke AJ. Like, we had that as a dream match because of what they did literally not too long ago,
Like
and
years ago.
literally 2 years ago at Wrestle Kingdom, they put on a good ass IC title match, and then they put on a stinker at Mania.
That's why I was so disappointed
definitely
after
feel
seeing
like-
that match.
I definitely feel like if that match went on this like a good like more 5 more minutes to get that second gear, like it would have not better than the New Japan match, obviously, but like it wouldn't have been as bad as it was.
Mm-hmm. If they had a
New
little bit
Japan
more
match is
time.
way better.
Yeah, that New Japan
If
match
they-
is
if
like
they-
one of my
if-
favorite matches
if
ever.
Vince-
Like they cooked.
If Vince would have allowed them, to have a New Japan match, that match would have been one of the greatest matches of that year.
Mm-hmm. Easily. Nah, it's just disappointing how they fumbled so many things within the last several years, just with stupid poor booking decisions. Like,
It's good. You know what? I would say this. You can feel how you want about Paul Levesque, but we're back on track. I will say that.
we are back.
Yeah, we're back on track. We're
when it comes
back on
to,
track.
consistent-
Thank
We are
God.
getting back on track. Yup,
Look.
100%.
Look, I'm not gonna say too much because I don't know how the fuck he's gonna do. He might have one good week. The next week, you don't know what the fuck he's doing, bro. So I ain't gonna be too excited about it. Like I said, I hope SmackDown.
It's just like
It's
I hope
just
he has a banger with Logan.
like I said,
Paul,
it's just
you
like
know.
it's probably gonna be just like last year, where when we watch WrestleMania, some people might like night 1 better than night 2. Some people might like night 2 better than night 1. It just.
I feel like, but like I did feel like both nights have potential to be an all around good Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. You have with both main events. If I know how it's going, you have CM Punk, Roman, and Seth main event in that night 1, which is a huge match. And then night 2, you have John Cena versus heel John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. That's going to be a generation.
Cena's last Mania,
And I don't know.
Final match.
Yes. Yeah. So there's going to be emotion during that match and shit. And so and then also you have Rhea, Io, and Bianca. I don't know whether or not that's night 1 or night 2, but either way, that's going to be a banger of a match.
I feel like that match. I feel like that match might fuck around open one of the nights. I ain't gonna lie to you.
it should.
I'm not gonna lie.
It should open.
World
It should be
Heavyweight
open.
Championship match should open each night. So Jay and Gunther should open night 1, and then Rhea versus Io versus Bianca should open night 2.
I agree.
I hate how they're doing the whole thing between Rhea, Io, and Bianca. Like the shit they did.
It's
The shit
kind of
they
lame. It's
did.
kind of lame. I see it. It's
It's
kind of
lame.
lame how they're getting into it.
Yeah, because the
It's
one
kind of
thing I
lame
don't
how they
like
get
is
into
how
it.
they're
But like, I
making
understand.
Rhea like how they're making Rhea look like weak now. Ever since she was with the Judgment Day, like she's kind of like a
Exactly.
hypocrite in a way. Like she's
They're
complaining
they're
about
kind of
Bianca helping
they're
Io,
making
but yet when she was with the Judgment Day was helping her throughout her World Heavyweight Championship matches. Like it's kind of like in a way like Rhea's being
like
a
they're
little bit of a
making
hypocrite.
they're,
No,
yeah, like
I ain't gonna lie.
They're making Rhea respectfully. They're making Rhea look bitch made, and it's kind of
No,
like
no, no. I'm gonna keep it old bean.
it's not working.
I think the opposite. The one problem I have with this whole build is the fact of how they trying to make it seem like Bianca is the bad person.
Yeah.
That too.
That's pissing me off because
That
one,
too.
and like the whole like, let's be serious. The whole rematch clause shit has been dead for years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why, bro? Why all of a sudden
right.
now she's getting a fucking rematch clause, but all these other mofos didn't get shit?
Yeah. She's being like Rhea's complaining about a little rematch. Like
And like even like last night, it's like if you watch that
That is
match
crazy.
last night, Rhea should have been disqualified. Bianca got hit like 3 or 4 times before she called the bell, and people booed. But I'm like, realistically, like, what the fuck she supposed to do? She should have got kicked to her shit. Like, and also nothing. I hate the fact how like they're making. This is why I say I disagree because I feel like they're making Bianca and Io look weak, especially Io, because how they're not necessarily even paying attention to Io. That's what's making me mad.
That too. I'm like, damn, bro. She's the fucking women's world champion. I'm like, so are we not gonna put no respect on her? Like,
yeah, because she keeps like being the one that's always
Exactly.
down. She's never the one standing tall, so they're like kind of making her look a little weak. But who knows? Because maybe at Mania she could pull through, win it. Even though,
I don't think she's winning.
yeah, I think she's
Not
just
down.
gonna be a transitional champion here. But I would not be. I mean, I will be surprised if Io ends up walking out of Mania as champion. But I highly doubt.
Mind you, Bianca's undefeated in Mania.
I mean,
They're going to continue that
too.
streak.
They're going to continue that. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And also, like,
winning. Bianca's
look,
winning.
I can only see it going 2 ways. I can only see like one 2 ways. One, Bianca wins just because she's undefeated at Mania, and 2, the only reason why I feel like Io might win because like look at the history with Io in 2 or 3 matches. She doesn't lose them shits.
Yeah.
Because they always take advantage. She always take advantage of the other 2 people arguing or bickering with each other. Like for example, when it was Charlotte, Rhea, and her, she took advantage of Rhea and Charlotte going at each other's necks. So
Exactly.
like,
And
I feel like
he's got a point.
It's like
He do got a point.
Because you got to think about it. What has been the feud going into this match? Io is being sidelined. It is always the main focus is the feud between Rhea and Bianca. And Io being the third person. That's the same way that they built it between Charlotte, Rhea, and Io. Charlotte and Rhea kept arguing, bickering with each other, and Io was sidelined.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same. It's deja vu. That's basically what it is.
Literally.
So my thing is, what was the point of giving Io the title? Like
Maybe another feather in her hat.
I understand what they tried to do because you knew like Io's gonna be included somehow in this match. But I'm not gonna lie, I would have just made this thing a whole 1-on-1. I love Io, but it just they kind of forced to include her in this whole thing.
Because I feel like with Io having that title, because granted, when she won the belt, she finally became a Grand Slam champion.
Mm-hmm.
And so people don't really talk about that, but it just feels like Io is like, all right, Io's in the match for Mania, and I feel like there's no like long-term plans for Io after Mania. If you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I feel like she's just there just to add her to the thing. Like I feel like they felt bad for her because they weren't gonna add her to the card, and then
I
last
will,
minute
I
they
will
were
say
gonna be
one
like,
thing,
yeah.
and I feel like this is similar to something else. I felt this like it's like a whole Mania 24 situation with Cena, Orton, and Triple H.
Hmm.
Because like obviously I felt we all wanted Cena, Orton at Mania, and then it kind
I
of put
was
Triple H
supposed to
in
be the main
there.
event. Yeah.
It kind of feels like the same situation with EO.
That and what Mania 30, Mania 35 with the whole Becky and
Yes,
Yeah,
Vic.
Charlotte
Yep.
inserting herself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because I
I'm
feel
not
like
gonna lie, you could kind of say 2 for Mania 37 with Daniel Bryan inserting himself a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was mostly Edge and Roman.
but I mean even then, so I feel like Dan Bryan make that match better.
Yeah,
True.
he did.
Yeah.
I feel like
He did.
because I feel like hear me out, right? I feel like hear me out, right? I feel like they're capitalizing on something good because everybody was saying how Io's one of the best wrestlers on the roster, and she is.
True.
And she is, and she was one of the best. She was one of the best wrestlers of last year. Um, of last year, and I feel like they're capitalizing on that. I was like, okay, Io's on the rise right now. Io's having banger matches after banger matches. Io's getting a whole bunch of fan service. Let's capitalize on that by putting her in the Mania match. And it's like, oh well, we can't leave Bianca out of Mania. We can't leave Bianca out of Mania. And I was like, oh yeah, fuck, you're right. Oh
But
yeah,
even then, so I felt like Bianca was gonna be in that match regardless because it felt like for the past year she was doing tag team shit.
yeah,
So I feel like she was gonna be in that match regardless.
yeah. The thing is, everybody thought
And
that the
which
match.
is why I don't understand why people are so mad. Like it isn't like she's been getting all these opportunities this past year. She's been carrying Jade.
Real shit.
Yeah,
like-
ever since August 2023, she has not been in the main event scene. She's literally been in tag team situations, faction situations, so she's been out the main event scene for a long time.
Exactly.
Rightfully so. It's her time to reinsert herself back after helping Jay and Naomi get their feet wet again in WWE or starting their venture in WWE. So it's her time now to get back to the main event scene. Rightfully so.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
But it was time to look. It was time to go ahead and just do fucking Rhea and Bianca. Like everybody's been waiting for that shit.
Since the Royal Rumble 2021, since they were the
Exactly.
final two. Yeah.
Adding EO in it makes the whole match even better because
Mhm.
I know all three of them can go.
Yep.
yeah, and the thing is, and the thing that's crazy is, like, you gotta realize, bro. It's just Rhea and Bianca and Jade Cargill is what everybody thought the match was going to happen. That's the match that everybody thought was gonna happen. Now that they're pivoting and going Jade and Naomi, that's fine. But where is the payoff for Jade and Bianca? Because this is the feud that you have been teasing. This is the feud that you have been building up to. And granted, the swerve was great. Naomi being a part of it, the swerve was fantastic. But either Jade is going to cost Bianca in some way, or Bianca is going to end up being shown that she was a part of it. Because obviously there has to be some sort of connection between.
I definitely feel like everybody has like, especially like that big 3 triple threat, which I thought they were gonna do just because of the fact of how when Jay came out the chamber and attacked Naomi, right, and we saw how fucked Bianca was about it. I thought that was gonna play a role on why Bianca lost that chamber because she wasn't focused.
That's what I'm saying. I really thought wholeheartedly that Liv was gonna win that match.
Yeah, I was convinced too Liv was going to win that match because the way they were building her up.
Yeah,
But
I knew Bianca wasn't gonna win that shit. I knew Bianca wasn't gonna lose that shit.
Once I saw Bianca was final two, I'm like, oh yeah, no. This is
well, yeah, like even before the final two, like even before the chamber came to fruition, like the build-up and everything, everybody was like, "Oh, Liv Morgan's gonna win." And I honestly thought she was, but once it came down to the final two, I'm like, "Yeah, Bianca's winning this."
Yeah,
There's no
Bianca's
doubt in my mind they're gonna have Liv Morgan pin Bianca, and rightfully so, they have Bianca winning. But let's continue getting into these main event lists because we still got a whole lot to talk about. So I'm gonna have Deontay read off his list now. So I'm gonna have everybody mute. I'm gonna mute.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing? Before I do start, I just want to let y'all know, y'all go follow my socials, follow my TikTok, Instagram, 404_D. Uh, I'm gonna be posting more content, like in the coming weeks, doing my little Mania predictions, stand delivery predictions, and probably this weekend I'm gonna end up doing my Dynasty predictions on AEW. But without further ado, I'm gonna go through my top 10 list. I do have 3 honorable mentions that I'm gonna go by like real fast. One of them was HBK versus Brett, the Iron Man match at Mania 12. I mean, say what you want about Brett. I feel like that was Bret Hart's best match, and you're going to go going up against Mr. WrestleMania. So yeah. Um, another honorable mention was Brock versus Roman at Mania 31 with the Seth cash in. Great match. I wish it would have went on a little bit longer, but I mean, hey, it paid off real good. You had the heist of the century. Yeah, you can't beat that. My last honorable mention was actually Taker versus Edge at Mania 24. As what DZ said, I feel like nobody talks about this a lot because I mean, Mania 24, it had its good matches and everything, but it's so many Manias that's really forgotten. But nobody talks about it. But yeah, uh, top 3 Taker match. I mean, top 5 Edge match. I mean, they really deserved the main event. They put on a good one. I mean, I like the spot with the referee, how fast as hell he was running. That shit was good. And probably a top 2 streak match from Taker. But yeah, I'm gonna go with my top 10. So my number 10 is Rock versus Steve Austin at Mania 17. I mean, you got 2 of the best in the company. Real good match. I mean, I feel like it was probably their best match. You can switch between that and Mania 19, but uh real good. The no disqualification kind of like threw me off. And the only problem, it would have been higher. Just that whole thing with turning heel, just yeah, it didn't sit right with me. 9, I had Roman versus Daniel Bryan versus Edge at Mania 37, night 2. Great match. Roman did what he was supposed to do. He said he was going to stack them. I liked how they added Bryan in it. Made it more huge than what it was. I mean, great wrestlers. Right person won. 8, I put Sasha and Bianca at 37, night 1. I mean, what can you ask for? First main event at Mania with black wrestlers, like 2 of the best female wrestlers in the company. They put on a good ass show. Like I said, it's all you could ask for. 7, and honestly, I would have made it higher. Why I didn't make it higher, I don't know. But for 7, I did Roman versus Cody at Mania 39, night 2. Uh, what DZ said, I feel like, but between that and 40, this was the best. This was the best wrestling match. They put on a good ass show. I thought Cody was gonna win, and then the whole solo thing kind of like threw me off, and I was just pissed off for the whole night. People said Roman couldn't wrestle. Watch that match. It tells you that nigga can go. For 6, I put Cena versus HBK at Mania 23. In my opinion, this is my favorite Cena match. Behind that is probably Cena Umaga at Mania. I mean, not Mania, Royal Rumble in 2007. Like I said, HBK, Mr. WrestleMania, he makes anybody look fucking good. And that match really showed that, Cena can fucking wrestle with one of the best in the fucking company, probably a top 5 wrestler all time. And they put on a good show. 5, I put Usos, KO, Mania 39, Night 1. Like DZ said, basically, it's unheard of that, you have a tag team match as a main event on Mania, but it made sense. Like, at first, people were really hating on the shit. Like, people thought it should have been Rhea and Charlotte. And it's like, no, like, the whole story with Sammy, like, his brotherhood with KO, and the whole story with the bloodline, like, straight cinema. And the match they put on, like, it almost put tears in my eyes because, like, damn, like, I've been rooting for Sammy his whole fucking career. And for him to main event a Mania, like, you could tell, like, really the commentators made it big. Like, freaking Michael Cole at the end, like, the whole 1D thing. And then at the end of the match, like, Michael Cole's, like, voice is, like, it's about to go off. Like, yeah. For 4, I'm gonna go with Kurt versus Brock Lesnar at Mania 19. Great match. 2 of the best in the company at the time. It had its little spots with the whole Brock had a concussion trying to do the shooting star press, which one of the most shocking things I've seen at that Mania, because literally it could have went different ways. Like, Buddy could have almost died. Kurt Angle's wrestling with a broken freaking neck. Like, all the injuries that happened during that match, and they still put on one of the best main events of all time. Can't say none else. For 3, I'm gonna go Roman versus Cody, Mania 40, Night 2. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's basically in game. A lot of people knew who was gonna win. Cody put on a show. I mean, you seen everybody come out. The only problem, and it would have been higher, I just feel like it should have been Stone Cold instead of Taker. But, I mean, the whole Taker return, I fucking loved it. Cena came out, did what he was supposed to do. Yeah. For 2, I'm going to go with HBK versus Taker, Mania 26. Y'all going to laugh at me, but like I said, it wasn't better than the 25 match, but it's literally right there. I mean, it was supposed to be HBK's last match, but, we ain't going to talk about the rest. But they put on a show. It rightfully deserved to be the main event. The whole build up behind it, like HBK trying his best to get his rematch. Taker says no. HBK cost Taker the World Heavyweight Championship at Elimination Chamber. The whole promo video with the make a deal with that whole shit was perfect. It was perfect, but it's not number 1. My number 1 is Triple H versus HBK versus the Crispin Man at Mania 20. Cinema. I mean, really, it was the whole story with the Crispin man. Like, they ain't think he could win the big one. He won the Royal Rumble that year. I'm glad they made it a the triple threat match. Niggas bled that whole fucking match. I didn't think he was gonna win it. And then the whole crossface thing, like, it made me cry. And I was watching it back then, like, that was a feel good story. And what made it better was the ending after the match. Eddie came out congratulating his best friend, telling him, like, yeah, you did this. And you just see them hugging it out, crying. Like, it had everything to it. Great match. Probably a top 10 match for me all time. Yeah. That's it.
Great list. Great list. Great list. Wow. Having that match at number one over Shawn and Taker, honestly, I'm not mad at it. That's like one of my favorite triple threat matches. Right there. So I respect you for putting that at number one.
And muted like fuck.
I unmuted everybody but myself. But nah, that is a solid list though. Like what Smooth said, putting that over HBK Taker, I respect it. I'm not mad at it whatsoever. But also shout out to the love for the tag team match on Mania 39 because I'm seeing a lot of love for that. That match is really one of the greatest tag team matches ever.
It is.
Near perfect. Near perfect.
I would say it's biased for me why I put that at number one because, I was a big, Chris Benoit fan growing up. And, yeah, say what we say. We still can't hide the fact that the nigga was still one of the best wrestlers in that fucking company, regardless. And I'm not saying what he did should be, yeah. It shouldn't be like under the rug or anything, but still, like, he was one of the best wrestlers in that company for a long ass time. And it was a feel good moment because he finally got the flowers he deserved in that main event of Mania. Like, it felt weird because it's like, damn, like he was the winner of the Royal Rumble, and it was like, it felt like that whole story was based off, HBK and Triple H, they blood feud, this and that and the third. They've been going crazy for literally like 2 years, and Chris Benoit made that whole thing better because top 5 technical wrestler of all time. And then you add Shawn Michaels, who's Mr. WrestleMania, and you got Triple H, who, when he has the time or he's with the right people, they can put on a good ass match. But like I said, what made it much better, like I said, was the whole ending with Eddie and Chris Benoit. Like, literally, best fucking friends, ending the show with them both holding the titles. Like I said, that's a feel good moment. Like,
that is a feel good.
If I was a wrestler and my best friend was in the WWE just like me, like, my one thing is to end the show off with both of us holding the world titles. Simple.
Can't get any better than that. It really can't. But before I go, we got Yael next. So Yael, the floor is gonna be yours, brother.
Alrighty. First off, I just want to thank Antstroworld and Antstroworldmania. A big event. Been here since day one. Since day one, we've done a whole 365, a whole year, of the Antstroworld podcast, and I'm very thankful and I'm very grateful for being here. But This was one of the hardest lists I've ever had to do in my life. And we're gonna start off number 10 is the Chris Breezy three way, and I have it low on my list. I have it low on my list mainly due to the circumstances. But just like Deontay said, it is one of the greatest matches that I've ever gotten to see. One of the best triple threat matches that I've ever gotten to see, and just the moment in general of one of my childhood heroes, one of my family's childhood heroes, Eddie Guerrero, um, hugging a man he called his brother, called his brother at that moment was very historical, especially for both of them. Granted, the circumstances that happened afterward kind of dwindled the match, but it still has a very deep connection to my heart. Number 9 is of course. I know a lot of people are going to be shocked that it's pretty low, but it is the finish the story match. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40. What else can I say that hasn't already been said? It is one of the greatest matches, one of the greatest matches of the modern day, and it has a little bit of sentimental value because I got to watch it with all my boys, um, and seeing Cody just finally grab the brass ring after years of us wanting him to grab the brass ring, and it it meant a lot of it. It meant a lot to us because we really felt that Roman was probably going to hold that title for a good minute. And just seeing him finally hold it and give it to his mom was very sentimental. Number 8, I have stack 'em pin 'em. Just that pose and the way that match ended in general. That pose is synonymous, and it's probably going to stay synonymous for the next 5, 10, 10, 11 years. Just that moment of just Roman Reigns showing how dominant this run was going to be by just stacking both of his opponents and pinning him at the same time, and just showing why he is the tribal chief. Just it showed everything. It showed everything you needed to show. Number 7, and I know Ant's probably gonna hate me for this. It is the Daniel Bryan three way, and I know it's pretty low on my list, because there's just a lot of other lists that have a lot more, a lot of other matches on my list that have a lot more sentimental value. But this was really great, especially me as a kid. I wasn't too fond of Daniel Bryan until later on when he finally started getting traction, and when I watched that episode of Raw, when when they protested the episode of Raw, and they had all the people from the crowd, and they had the yes move and stuff like that, and Triple H fuming and shit like that. And then like that, right then and there, I was like, this dude's gonna be something big. And it's like, and then like it wasn't until later on in my life I got to look back at Daniel Bryan's stuff, and as well as his career moving forward, and as well as just watching some of his ROH stuff and some of his old stuff, it made me realize like this dude is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and there's no debate about it. And number 6 is Rock versus Cena, and the reason it's at number 6 is just to me, growing up as a kid, and then every time you went to elementary school and you talked to and I would talk to all of my old friends, this was the match talked about for the last 4 or 5 months going into WrestleMania. Who was going to win? Rock versus Cena. This was a match that you talk to your father about. This is a match that you talk to your family about, because your family, you would know, is very old school. They know The Rock, they know Stone Cold, they know Rikishi, they know all the old wrestlers. And then me, growing up with all the modern day wrestlers, I knew John Cena, I knew Randy Orton, I knew Edge, I knew Shawn Michaels, I knew CM Punk. So me, this was a very generational divide between different eras and different genres in wrestling. Me having to have that debate with my dad, and my dad telling me, well, The Rock's probably gonna whoop John Cena. The Rock's just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And me standing there 10 toes telling them, I'm telling you right now, John Cena is going to beat The Rock. And I had so many debates and so many arguments about this match. And it lives in my head till this day. Number 5, Of course, one of the greatest women's matches of all time, Bianca versus Sasha Banks, and respectfully so, two black women made up a main event in WrestleMania. One of the greatest women's matches in WrestleMania history. One of the greatest women's matches in general. In general, and just you could see from the opening match, from when the bell rang, the two women completely in tears, knowing that they are main eventing a night of WrestleMania, and it is for a lot of women that are coming that a lot of women that are coming up on the show, as well as a lot of women in general. A lot of women in general are going to look up to this match, knowing that this is where they want to be. This is where they want to get to when it comes to being a main eventer in the women's division. Number 4 is Cena versus Shawn WrestleMania 23. Cena versus Shawn WrestleMania 23. It holds a good place in my heart because I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan, and this match was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. For the people who played 2K24, this match was amazing. Um, and getting to watch it back. Oh shit. Um, but um, but getting to watch it back made me realize how great this match was. And I know for people in the group chat, for people in the Discord, I do say I'm I do say that John Cena, in my personal opinion, doesn't have that much in ring ability. But at that moment, right there, when I watched that match, it made me show that when Cena has to put on a match, and you know he's going up against a wrestler who a lot of people would arguably say is a better wrestler than him, he will be 10 toes, and he will put on the greatest match he can, and will wrestle his ass off if he needs to. I've said that Cena's a pretty mid wrestler, and I still kind of stand by that. But I feel like with his heel run going in as well, I feel like there's a lot of things he can do that are different, especially since he's a heel. And there are a lot of matches that a lot of people that I look at and is like, all right, this man's actually wrestling, and that is a lot of the things that I enjoy and that I like about his matches. Alrighty, time for the top 3. Number 3 is Edge versus Taker WrestleMania 24. The entire feud going into this match was seeing if Taker still had it, if Taker still had it in him, if Taker could outsmart Edge. Because going into this feud, Taker has never beaten Edge in his entire career. Every time he has faced Edge, he has been out manipulated. He has been outsmarted. He has not been able to get the job done against Edge. And so Edge, going into that match, thought he had this match won. He had this match won. In the biggest stage with the streak on the line. And I've read in certain news articles and even interviews that Edge has done. Edge was told to end the streak. Edge was supposed to be the guy to end the streak, and Edge refused. He said no, because the Undertaker's name and the streak in general is too synonymous with WrestleMania, and he doesn't want to be the one to do it. And that match in general, just the way it was planned out, and we still talk about Charles Robinson running all the way down that ramp till this day. I still use that meme till this day. Number 2, you know I had to get one of his matches in here. Kurt versus Lesnar. Number 2, Kurt versus Lesnar 2. Watching this match, going back right when I was in my prime TNA days, watching Peak Angle, in his prime in TNA, I'm like, you know what? Let me go back watch some Kurt Angle matches in WWE. And when I looked up on this match on YouTube, this is one of my top 5 favorite matches of all time. Arguably so. It's just the way these two are one of the best wrestlers at that time. Kurt Angle was still one of the best wrestlers till this day. And granted, yeah, the shooting star it was kind of iffy, but the rest of that match was phenomenal. by any chance of the word. And then of course, number one, I mean, if my background didn't make it obvious, Shawn versus Taker 2, WrestleMania 26. And the reason this has the number one spot, the reason this has the most value to me, I was there as a kid. I was 6 years old, and I was 6 years old, and this was the first event that my pops took me to. And we drove from KC all the way to Phoenix, Arizona, and we watched it. And that entire pay-per-view is one of my top 3 favorite pay-per-views of all time. And Shawn Michaels at the time was one of my favorite wrestlers, him and Jeff Hardy. And having to watch that match, I've seen the running up that hill promo probably more than 10 times. Till this day, I shit you not, I don't know if I still have it because I have a new phone, but I made a promo package between me and DZ of running up that hill promo because of like the certain Discord that we're in, and I just never used it. But it's just but it's probably in my old phone. I'll probably have to seek it out. But that promo to me was just one of the best promos I've ever seen in my life. I've said to this day that promo is better than the Limp Bizkit promo, and I stand on that 10 toes, because the way Shawn was so desperate to get his rematch with The Undertaker, knowing damn well he got that close to beating The Undertaker, and he could have done it. And I honestly believed in my heart, in my mind, that Shawn was going to win that match. And then the night after, when I saw his retirement, I literally cried in tears. I went upstairs, went to my mom literally came downstairs to the living room and told me why I was crying. And I said, my favorite wrestler just retired. And it was one of the most emotional things I've ever seen in my life. And it just has the most value to me. And I just think it's one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. But that is my list. Oh. Still muted.
I was forgetting to unmute. I'll mute everybody except myself, but not. I like that list. I like how you had Kurt and Brock as like what you said, number 2 or number 3, if I'm not mistaken.
It was number 2.
Number 2. No, I like that. That's a good one right there. No,
I definitely agree with you. Running up that hill, that promo video is definitely
top 5.
It's better. It's better. I think it's better than My Way. Not by much, but it's better.
I respect that.
Like,
That's
like,
not
bro,
too crazy to say.
Bro, it's like bro, it's like to me, it's like I feel a lot of myself in that promo, especially if you hear very thoroughly through the lyrics. I've had those lyrics replayed in my head. I think those lyrics are in my Discord bio, but it literally says, "If I only could make a deal with God to get him to swap our places," and I felt that so many different life. My life
I think you're glitching out.
My life was different, and I had the life that he had. Yeah, my computer's kind of iffy, but just only if I had the life that he had, what would be different, and that's just how I felt my entire life. That promo is just synonymous, dude.
Yeah, that's a solid list, though, bro.
Yeah, might use that promo song. Yeah, might use that promo song in a. Might use that promo song on a certain someone. Cough, cough, yeah, cough, cough.
Still got to get that tiebreaker, but that will be determined later on. But all right, it's my turn to give.
We got 3 weeks. We got 3 weeks of Antstroworld.
We can see what happens. We can see what happens. See what happens. All right, it's my turn to give my top 10. So I'm gonna try to speed run through this. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I'm gonna give just what I think is my top 10. All right, so coming at number 10, we got Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 15. The first encounter between these two at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Solid match. Great way to kick off the rivalry, especially kicking off the trilogies at WrestleMania. Probably my favorite match out of the three that they had at Mania. That's just my personal opinion. So that's at number 10. Number 9 is number 2. Austin vs. Rock number 2 with the infamous Stone Cold Steve Austin heel turn, WrestleMania 17. Literally selling his soul, just like John Cena just recently did with The Rock. It's kind of crazy how that came full circle. The Rock was involved with that back in 2001. Now he's involved with it in 2025. Insane work. Still solid match. Great storytelling match. Great match filled with emotions. Definitely an all-timer. Arguably the greatest main event of all time, but to me, I feel like there's a lot more that I favor a lot, but let's keep going down this list. Number 8, got Rock versus Cena number 1. Obviously, once in the lifetime, especially during that time. Somebody from the Ruthless Aggression, somebody from the Attitude Era going toe-to-toe, two of the biggest stars from their respective eras, putting on a spectacle. Honestly, a lot of people give a lot of shit to this match, but I love it. I love it. It's literally a dream match. It's a dream match before our eyes. So a match that we thought would never happen actually happened. Just overall, really good, big money event or match. Coming up next, number 7 is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31, which, by the way, like I've said many, many times before, WrestleMania 31 is my favorite WrestleMania ever. This was a great main event. It gave me a lot of David versus Goliath feels. Brock Lesnar being Goliath, Roman Reigns being David. Then obviously, this was their best match that they've had. Like literally, besides SummerSlam 2022, this is probably their best match they had. It's literally the first match, the first encounter. And then it ends off with, the heist of the century, Seth Rollins. That moment made Seth Rollins one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Literally, that was one of the most genius things ever, cashing in the main event of WrestleMania. Brilliant. But nonetheless, that match was solid. That match was, like I said, their best match between the two. Coming in at number 6, we got Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. This was a given. I feel like this should be on everybody's list. Everybody's personal favorites. History making right there, especially during the pandemic era of WWE, WrestleMania 37. 2 black women main eventing WrestleMania. Never been done before. These two just put on a spectacle. One of the best women's matches ever. These two tore down the house, especially during tough times. They killed it. And this right here was literally the stamp of approval. Literally what sealed Bianca to success. Literally her seal of approval. All-timer right there. Number 5. This is shocking. This probably will be shocking to a lot of people, but I'll let everybody know. Number 5 for me is HBK versus Taker number 2. Obviously, WrestleMania 26. I was young when I first saw it. This was one of the first Manias I saw back on NBC in August of 2010. Because when I started watching wrestling, it was in June 2010. But this was on a rerun on NBC, so I watched it. Really great match. Going back, watching it as I got older, definitely a top 10 match of all time. This isn't going to be higher for me just because I feel like there's a lot more favorable ones that I can relate to that I like a lot more because of how I grew up, what I was watching more when I grew up, because I didn't really grow up watching Shawn Michaels. I didn't really grow up watching Taker. I started watching them during them exiting their primes, or obviously when Shawn Michaels retired. So yeah, but still nonetheless, very, very, very great match right there. Especially it being Shawn Michaels' last match, which I'm saying it is his last match. I'm not counting what we saw at Crown Jewel 2018. That does not count. That never happened. But now going up next to number 4, I got Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes number 1 at WrestleMania 39. I was there live, so I'm a little bit more biased towards that. But yeah, that match was an all-timer too. The better wrestling match, especially the better one than 40 in my opinion. 40 was more of moments and nostalgia. This one was just pure, strictly off who has better wrestling skills, who could go toe-to-toe. Like, can they keep up with each other? Just everything about it was cool. Just seeing Sami and KO get involved, the Usos, and then the whole ending where Solo comes out once he got ejected. His Cody with the Samoan spike, and it just sucks the heart out of everybody in the SoFi Stadium. when I was there and we heard that 1, 2, 3, and just hearing everybody just silent, just looking like, damn, he really lost. I thought he was gonna win. I mean, as a Roman fan, I love to see it, but at the same time, that was cinema. That was literally cinema. And we already knew what that was going to be in store for the next years coming. But now coming in at number 3, this is probably one of my favorite matches of all time. But when we're talking about main events for WrestleMania, I got the Usos versus Sami and KO. Obviously, like I said, I was at WrestleMania 39. Seeing this live was just beautiful. This is one of the greatest tag team matches I've ever seen. The storytelling, the chemistry, the spots, everything about this match was near perfect. When Sami Zayn kicked out of that 1D, that arena erupted, literally erupted. Like seeing everybody just go up in arms, seeing him kick out of that, being the first person to kick out of it during the Usos' reign, love to see it. And then just the final moment where Sami hit all those haluva kicks to Jey Uso, KO coming in, hitting Jimmy with a stunner, and just sealing that deal. Perfect. One of those feel-good victories. But then now, number 2, I got Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 37. Obviously, I had to put a Bryan match up in the top 3. Just the story behind this whole match, just the whole idea of all these 3 men were literally having career-altering injuries or career-altering health conditions, and them being back in the main event of WrestleMania going toe-to-toe, which is a beautiful sight to see. This being Bryan's send-off, potentially his final WrestleMania match. Perfect. One of Edge's final WrestleMania matches. One of his first World Championship matches since he returned. It was just beautiful. Especially with the conditions, too. With us being in the pandemic era. It was just perfect. And just seeing Reigns just stamp himself, say, hey, I'm legit. This is just the beginning of this run. Just stacking and pinning Edge and Bryan was perfect. But my number 1 favorite WrestleMania main event match of all time is a no-brainer. It's WrestleMania 30, Bryan versus Orton versus Batista. This is the match that really got me back into being a wrestling fan, like the wrestling fan I am today for over 11 years now. Just seeing an underdog like that go all the way to the top, being these greats in Batista and Orton, just the miracle on Bourbon Street itself was just a beautiful sight to see. Just seeing Bryan, getting pummeled, taken out on a stretcher, then coming back into the match, defeating attacking Triple H, getting Stephanie out the way, getting in that ring again, hitting a knee onto Randy Orton, and then putting Batista in the freaking yes lock. Everything about that was just perfect. Like the whole arena just being behind him, the whole yes movement. That's what made me a Bryan Danielson fan or Daniel Bryan fan. Just literally the whole build up to WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 30 itself. But yeah, that's my top 10 list.
Right across the spine, and we know what's next.
Great list.
Hey, look, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that number 1. I mean, it was probably honorable mention. I mean, for me, it was more of a feel good than a good match. I mean, I'll get to that later on when we talk about like favorite Mania moments. But yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, because honestly, looking back at the triple threat though, like it was. I want to say it was great. I want to say it was a classic one. I say it was good, but like the feel good moment is what really takes the cake of anything. Just like the underdog coming in and winning. The one match I did leave off here because I feel like that was already a given was obviously Cody versus Roman number 2 at WrestleMania 40. I just didn't want to add that on there because I feel like that's already a given. That's on pretty much everybody's list. Because in my opinion, that as much as I don't like the guy, I'm just gonna say that's probably one of the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. That's just my personal opinion. I think that is legitimately the greatest WrestleMania main event. I feel like that did surpass Austin versus Rock in a way, in a sense. But that is debatable. It's debatable. But me personally, I'm taking Cody versus Roman 2 at Mania 40. But yeah, everybody has solid lists. What I'm gonna do post stream, I'll get everybody's list together. I'm gonna do like a little like edit or whatever of everybody's matches. Boom, boom, boom. I'll post them and I'll have everybody see what everybody came up with. But now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of things. Since we're in the second half of the stream, we're just gonna talk about favorite Mania moments for a little bit here. Then we'll talk about our favorite matches, and then we're gonna do the tier list. So let's get back to the Mania moments. So I'm gonna let everybody speak for themselves real quick.
So I'm gonna say the reason I didn't have it on my list is that I do see it a lot more as just the moment in general, and that would be the heist of the century.
That's my number
The
one.
heist,
That's my number one right there.
Yeah, the heist of the century is one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history. Think about it. Never in our lives did we think someone was ever going to cash in at WrestleMania. And the minute you heard Seth's music hit, and granted, Roman versus Brock was having a pretty good match. Granted, it wasn't the best, but it was a pretty good match, going forward. And the minute you heard Seth's music, the crowd erupted.
Crowd went crazy.
And the man hit that briefcase and he was cashing in, and you almost thought, I'm like, this is revolutionary. This is just like it's just never been done before.
But what made it crazy because you wouldn't have expected it. Like you wouldn't have thought, oh, somebody's gonna cash in at WrestleMania. Like that was literally unheard of. And then
It was
for that
unheard of.
happened, that honestly, that whole thing, that heist of the century, it really solidified Seth's career.
No, that literally is what made me a Seth fan right there. That, like, it's shocking enough because people may think that Brian winning the titles at Mania 30 is my favorite moment. Nah, that heist of the century is my number one right there. And that takes a lot because, granted, my 13, 14-year-old self at the time hated Seth Rollins, but once he did this made me a big fan of him, just simply due to the fact of how genius it was of cashing in the main event of WrestleMania. And that right there just, like, literally rolls the stock from being, like, a mid-carder that is probably an afterthought of the Shield, a potential star to superstar right then and there. That literally sold me on Seth Rollins. That whole cash-in, winning the WWE Championship, that was just the perfect moment. But other moments I got, obviously, Priest cashing in, Money in the Bank, not Drew McIntyre. If you know, you know. That was perfect. That... Just seeing one of my recent favorites, Damian Priest, getting his big moment was just a great sight to see. Obviously, another great moment was Becky being the first woman,
And
being the
also,
first
also
woman in the
I
main
will say
event.
this. I'll save it for matches. But go ahead, Smooth.
Yes, Smooth. You got something to say, bro?
But
But
yeah, heist of the century. That moment was amazing, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean,
Got a
Seth
guest here with
Rollins.
us right now, real quick.
yeah.
I never.
Welcome,
What's going on,
Chris.
Chris?
What's up, Chris?
Welcome to Antstroworldmania.
Oh yeah, promoted that bit.
But yeah, I would say there's also, from what Deontay was saying earlier, I do see the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 as more of a moment because just like the big hero moment that Brian had was just like it was well received, it was well praised, like it was the moment that everybody wanted him to have. And then the people in the back who said, oh yeah, no, this was all planned out. It really wasn't. It was not planned out at all.
It was.
Didn't CM Punk like leak the fucking plans after he left, or whoever it was?
Oh no, that
It's
got
supposed to be
leaked like years later or something like that.
Or, yeah, but it was supposed to be like Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus or something for like the belt,
Yeah.
something stupid.
US title.
But yeah, as well, another moment that I feel like doesn't get talked about as much is whatchamacallit, freaking Damian Priest cashing in.
Great moment.
But yeah, that cash in was something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally- but it's only been two people that have cashed in at Mania and have been successful. That is
Yep.
Seth, and that's
We have
Damian
yet to
Priest.
see a failed cash in at WrestleMania. We
They-
have yet to see that.
Honestly, I don't think that'll ever happen.
It shouldn't
I don't
think
happen.
that
It
ever
should
happens.
never happen.
Wouldn't happen.
Should never happen.
That literally will just kill the whole like mood of the show. Like,
It should never happen. That's what I'm saying. It should never
Yeah.
happen at all.
A great moment. My personal favorite Mania moment of all time. Gotta be the
That's
Hardys
why
coming back.
it's
Gotta be them.
a
Hardys
special
coming back.
moment.
Hardy's coming back in
WrestleMania.
33.
It's like
Because I remember
A special-
literally like the night before they were in Ring of Honor, I think, or the 2 nights before,
what the fuck is wrong?
and they had lost to the Young Bucks. I was like, "There's
That
no way
was-
they're coming back."
Because I was legitimately sitting there because I watched WrestleMania 33 with my homie. I was legitimately sitting there, over here like, because when I saw the New Day come out, and they were teasing it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's got to be the Hardys. It's got to be the Hardys. And then like the minute I heard the music hit, I was like, they actually fucking did it.
It was
I really
crazy
thought it was-
because they kept that shit quiet as fuck. Like
Real
that
talk.
that was at the time where like us growing up, it was at the time where you wouldn't see shit on Twitter and all that shit like
Like this is when the dirt sheets started becoming more popular, but it was not like the very bottom. It was not like the very bottom of the barrel. Like it wasn't like that big yet. Like obviously dirt sheets have always been around, but they haven't been that that popular.
we didn't know it then. That was crazy.
Mhm.
It was shocking because it's like, damn man, like first of all, Jeff Hardy was my childhood.
That he's the reason I watched this
Literally,
shit,
he
man.
was my childhood favorite wrestler.
Damn. I just want to say this as a side note. They really don't have anything for Roxanne to do on the main roster. That's where she's on. That's where she's on NXT right now.
Oh yeah,
Wait, and
we
you
could
saw
talk.
that?
Yeah, we could
saw-
talk about that real quick. We could talk about NXT just real quick because obviously,
Yeah, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? So they just decided not to do the feud with her and Bailey.
like, they just threw
That
that out
shit
the
was
window.
They
That
did her
was-
so dirty with that
Yeah.
shit. I was
Like,
looking
how
forward to
you-
seeing Roxanne versus Bailey.
But I
Like,
want to
how
talk
are you
about that.
going? How are you going
Wait,
to
yeah,
elevate
what?
someone to the main roster and then just say, you know what? Maybe you need more time on NXT.
That was a god awful feeling. Well, it's not a bad feeling. I have a feeling she's probably gonna end up facing Cora Jade in her final match.
That's
Can we-
shit,
In NXT.
it's shit because of what the fuck she just did in Elimination Chamber. Like she put on a good ass showing in the Elimination Chamber.
Wait, hold on. I gotta turn this up. D'Angelo family.
First on the docket, Dion Lennox.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room though? Stephanie having to relinquish the North American title.
That shit.
I
was
mean,
dumb.
Pros and
That's
cons.
dumb.
Pros, she didn't get pinned. She never lost it. Whatever.
Hey,
Cons.
What was the point of her getting the Women's North American Championship if she's gonna have to relinquish it?
So
Well-
they basically just pulled a Keith Lee. Defended it once or twice, and then had to relinquish it. And now they're going to have a ladder match. This is literally Keith Lee 2.0. Well, I'm not saying that Stephanie McCurt is Keith Lee. I'm just saying like the whole,
Yeah, it literally made no sense for her to get the title. It literally made no type of sense. It like, well, obviously, she had the title at first, but it's like, why? I felt like, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like lazy booking to me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, low key a little bit lazy booking because it's like, you mean to tell me you just wanted to give her like the title just for a little bit, just for her to relinquish it, so nobody could really win it properly. They have to win it off a ladder match or whatever. They can't get a big victory over her because if they're pushing her to like this big superstar status, you're telling me they can't build somebody up by pinning Stephanie, which I mean I will be pissed off about, but at the same time a little happy because we're building new stars. So
yeah, at least she was an actual double champ, unlike Mandy Rose.
oh yeah, we gotta talk about that too real quick.
Like, bro, the second she won the belt, it was literally like done. She wasn't even a double champ. It was
I
just
know she
done.
wasn't holding both belts for the longest time, and they literally acknowledged like it was a unification match. Like they were just going to unify the titles into one because they were getting rid of NXT UK. But people, and Mandy herself seem to forget that they want to, alter history into their own, words or their own minds. So, but nah, back to Mania moments. What other Mania moments do y'all, favorite? Like,
I would. Oh, my bad.
No, you good. I really enjoyed Stone Cold coming back at 38. And he actually had a pretty good match. That was pretty nice.
no, what I liked about the whole thing, he came back, they did the KO show, and then they literally ended up having the match, and that was like one of the greatest well, not one of the greatest matches, but one of the best matches on the card.
It honestly might probably be like top 5, top 3 best. I don't remember anything spectacular from that show, if I'm being real.
I mean,
Unless I'm
besides
tweaking.
Becky,
oh yeah, that's right.
because
That's
you had Becky Bianca, you had Seth
Mhm.
and Cody, you had Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville, and then you had
Speaking of Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville, that had no business being that good.
one of the best comedy matches. Honestly, one
Damn,
of the
where
most.
everybody going, bro?
They'll probably be back. It's been glitching a lot.
All right.
I know DZ was doing something.
Oh, Smooth had to go, actually, matter of fact, but it's all good.
I'm trying to think here.
What other moments I'm trying to think of?
I'll probably say my personal favorite moment. I mean, I had brought it up earlier, but yeah, it was literally Daniel Bryan winning the World Heavyweight. Like I said, feel good moment. The whole story behind it,
Oh wait, no, I got you.
and what we heard after the fact, like it was originally supposed to be Bryan and Sheamus, and then I think it was going to be Punk and Triple H.
Something like that, yeah.
Literally.
Oh, what are we doing? I don't know if anyone said it, but Kofi winning the title.
Yeah.
How are we gonna forget about that?
Yeah.
I can't believe I almost forgot about that, man.
Like, you know how hard it is for me to root against my GOAT? Like, literally, Kofi had me root against my GOAT. Like, that's crazy to even say. Like, Kofi Mania, you had to be there. You had to be there. That was one of the greatest experiences ever. Like, one of the greatest time periods ever.
Mm-hmm. I think another great moment. No, I was actually finna troll, but let me not. I was gonna say Santina. Santina went into that bit was fire.
That was fun. I mean, that was funny. That is a moment. That was funny. Like that shit was
another great moment was probably Edge spearing Jeff at Mania 17 in that TLC match. That was it was crazy because it happened once before, but this one made it more crazier because it was at Mania, and we talk about how Mania 17 is one of the best Manias of all time. So
we gotta talk about this right here, end of an era.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The match itself, the moments in the match.
Can we label that as the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time? Can we?
Yes.
End of an era.
No.
I could say that probably is.
Because I could say it's top 3. I could say it's top 3.
It's definitely top 3. I think, in my opinion, my personal favorite one was HBK and Taker in Bad Blood. I mean, it was the first Hell in a Cell match. And
I mean, Mitri got a point. Undertaker kicking out of the Sweet Chin music and the pedigree at the same time.
We gotta talk about those back-to-back matches between those two. Mind you,
both of them.
Literally, I feel like that Triple H and Undertaker, as much as we talk about how bad, Mitri has said Taker, and
right. I could agree with that. I could, because
Rock versus Taker was a really good Hell in a Cell match.
But back to my point, we talk about how bad Mania 27 was, but literally Taker and Triple H has saved that fucking show. Even though the show was still shit, that was literally the best thing on the fucking show. Like, first of all, their entrances made it even better. Like, Taker walking out to that Johnny Cash song, and then well, it
Ooh,
was
his vein, killer's way, gone in flame.
Triple H walking out to what was it, Metallica?
Something like that. What was his attire? Because I know it was like the Green Titantron, right? Like the
Yeah.
green, yeah.
You talking about 27 or 28?
27.
28.
Oh.
Wait,
Oh, 27, no. 27 he came out to the he came out to the Metallica song.
yeah, 27 was the Metallica song because they had this different themes for that, which was cool. Like that was the only thing good out of 27.
Yeah.
Well, one
Yeah,
of the only two
that's
good things.
yeah,
Cody
that's when he
versus
used
Sin Cara was fine, or Rey
that's
Mysterio
when
was
he used the
fine.
fucking that's when he used the fucking dry ice and it got all over his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
the
was
only
29, wasn't it? Yeah,
wait,
29.
was it 29?
The dry ice? No, I thought it was 27.
It was
forgot what it
29 when he faced Brock.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like my favorite moment from that match in 27 was probably the spine buster on the table.
That bit was hard.
Yeah,
On the announce table, yeah.
and then really, what was it the ending? The ending made it so much better. Fucking
Oh yeah.
Taker put Triple H in the Hell's Gate,
The
and
sledgehammer, and then he like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, out of Mania 27, because Mania 27 was so horrible, the only three good things out of the whole pay per view: Cody and Rey Mysterio before Cody Rhodes turned into Cody Fraud, Taker, Triple H, and Randy Orton, CM Punk. Those were the only three good things out of the whole pay per view.
I mean, also another moment from that match as well. Triple H hitting the spine buster on the freaking Michael Cole thing.
yeah.
Oh, on the little like podium thing that he
Yeah,
had.
the whole podium thing
Yeah.
where they fucking they smashed the podium and Triple H spine busted him through it.
Mhm.
That was great.
We really had fucking Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler in a match.
So we ain't fucking with that match, bro.
Hell no. That
Bro, come on now. Who wasn't messing with Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, bro? Come on now.
No. Y'all want I want y'all to remember this country whipping match from Extreme Rules. Never
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
lord.
And bro, kudos to my GOAT. And I feel bad for Steve Austin because he had to be the special guest referee for that 27 match.
he got tangled up in the mix, man. I hate
this man, Michael Cole, ate a face full of barbecue foot. That was insane.
that was an interesting choice by Vince McMahon. But let's get on to matches here. So we can speed things up just a little bit. What we'll do is we'll go top five. So I'll have Chris go top five real quick, Yayo go top five, and then I'll have Deonta go top five. Then I'll get my top five. So basically, this is top five your favorite Mania matches ever. So
Okay.
Chris, I'll let you take the floor here. I'm gonna mute like I was doing earlier.
All right. No specific order, or not really.
No specific order.
I feel like one. Sean and Kurt. That shit was fire. I mean, two of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. The greatest in-ring performer of all time, Shawn Michaels against Kurt Angle in his prime. Insane. I would say Sammy and KO versus the Usos. Greatest tag team match I've seen in my lifetime. The one, like you said, the 1D kick out, that was fire. And then the three haluva kicks over and over and over. That was great. I like another one. I really enjoyed CM Punk versus Randy Orton for Mania 27. Single-handedly saved the card without Taker and Triple H. No replay value without those two matches. I think another one for me has got to be Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew from 39. That bitch was hard. Three of the hardest hitting dudes in the company. And granted, it seemed like a lot of time for that match, but it really was. It was like, I think it was actually under 20 minutes they got. And they went to town on each other. Pause. That was a great match. And I think probably my favorite Mania match of all time has got to be Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. Brother versus brother. The brother versus brother match because the other one doesn't count. Owen over Bret always has been, always will be. And that's my top 5 list.
Solid list, solid list. Kurt Sean, definite classic right then and there. Baron Owen, that's a sleeper. That's a definite sleeper right there. That's one of the greatest opening matches of a Mania ever.
You know what's crazy? Literally, I'm gonna piggyback on the whole Kurt and HBK thing. You know what's crazy? They had another banger at the next fucking pay-per-view. Like, yeah. I mean, of course, it's Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. Like, they can work well together, but in my opinion, that's literally a top 5 Mania match of all time.
Easily.
They literally put on another banger that next pay-per-view. It was good.
Alrighty.
All right, yeah. I'll let you go, bro.
All right. Of course, it's Eddie and Kurt, Sean and Kurt. The Money in the Bank match from WrestleMania 23. Uh, Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy, and I would say Randy Orton and The Undertaker. Yeah. Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy personally is just I was a big Jeff Hardy fan as a kid, and seeing him finally get his singles match at WrestleMania, it just meant a lot to me.
I thought it was going. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was going to be better.
I
thought
did.
it
I really wish it was better. I honestly, in my mind, to this day, I still think the wrong guy won, and I feel like it should have went to Jeff.
And what's
And
crazy,
then,
Matt won twice in that fucking feud, bro. Matt won twice in that feud.
yep, he won a stretcher match. He won a stretcher match on SmackDown, and then he won the Extreme Rules match at WrestleMania, and then Jeff won the match at Backlash.
Which
And it's just,
that shit made no fucking sense at all, man.
and you know what's crazy? A year later, that man got released.
That's something.
It's yeah.
Yeah, like just Jeff should have won at Mania 25. Jeff definitely should have won at Mania 25.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, he won the feud with the I Quit match or whatever. I think at Extreme Rules or Backlash. I think it was Backlash or Extreme Rules, one of the 2 pay-per-views. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, that's an underrated Mania match for sure. But Deontay, I'm gonna let you give your top 5.
Uh, I'm not gonna go in order. I'm gonna just yap. One of them is CM Punk versus Undertaker at Mania 29. It was crazy because you have 2 good wrestlers with really different styles. The whole feud was crazy, basically, with Punk basically mocking Paul Bearer because around that time, that's when Paul Bearer had passed away, and the whole really him disrespecting Paul Bearer and the Undertaker, it made the feud even better. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Punk was gonna win that match. Like, he really came that close to winning the fucking match. But it kind of and piggyback on the whole Paul Bearer thing, it kind of had added a lot of emotion to the match, which made the whole feud even better. But yeah, you know how it is. Undertaker wins by a tombstone. Boom. Another match would probably be Kurt versus Shawn. Like we've all said, one of the best top 5 Mania match of all time. You have two of the best wrestlers in the fucking company. You have Mr. Wrestlemania and probably arguably the best technical wrestler of all time. You could switch either him or Danielson. I probably have Kurt as my number one. But yeah, they put on a show. They put on a I don't know. I don't know which is better, their Mania match or their Vengeance 05 match. Because that rematch was so good. I'm gonna be honest, that rematch was so fucking good. So my third one, I will go with Gunther. I will go with Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus at Mania 39. Um, big meaty men slapping meat. Pause. Like, yeah, these niggas beat the fuck out of each other, and it made it crazy because Gunther's defending his title and literally a record-breaking title run, and we had talked about it. We had talked about it. They talked about it Sunday. When Ant was on the Jeopardy for the Jobbers podcast, and they basically had said, Drew's in the all white fucking trunks. Like, you thought that nigga was gonna win. I'm seeing this nigga like, oh damn, bro, you got a new fit. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was cold as fuck from Drew. But yeah, I think that show really stole the whole fucking weekend. They're beating the hell out of each other. Like, the aftermath, it shows them being like bruised up and everything. Like, they basically gone through war. And I feel like that's probably the most hard hitting match I've ever seen in WWE history. Besides, Sheamus and Gunther at Clash at the Castle. But that was probably one of the most hard hitting, most impactful matches from Mania of all time. My fourth one, I would go with Taker and HBK at Mania 25. I mean, what else am I supposed to say? One of the best matches of all time. And it's crazy because they were feuding for a long ass time. You can go back to the 90s and like the early 2000s and everything. And they put on like decent matches. They had a great match at Bad Blood, but this is probably again a top 3 Mania match of all time. Probably a top 10 match of all time. And it's crazy because they had to literally wrestle before the god awful main event. It just didn't make any sense, and it was scary because Taker almost broke his fucking neck on the whole dive thing, which it was scary because you thought that would have had messed up the whole thing, but literally Taker regrouped and they kept on going. Taker had countered HBK's moonsault, tombstone, ball game. And last but not least, my 5. Yeah, I'll probably go with the triple threat match at Mania 20. Like I said, one of the best matches of all time. The trio produced a special fucking championship match. It's crazy because Triple H submitted, and you wouldn't have thought that, knowing how Triple H was back in the day, and the finish was amazing. And then, like I said, feel good moment because after the match, Cody and Chris Breezy They hugging it out, tears, all the confetti coming down. Like, you can't beat that.
Nah, that was a solid list, especially with the number 5. Number 5, the ending of that with the whole triple threat of Mania 20. The ending of it, that was just cherry on top. Cherry on top indeed. But I'll give my top 5 list. I won't mute anybody. I'll just go real quick. I won't get too much into depth because I still want to do that tier list. Because yeah, we gotta break that down. So besides matches that were on my top 10 Mania main events, my favorite main events. So we'll go like this. One obviously HBK Taker Mania 25, the greatest Mania match of all time. 2, Kurt versus Shawn Mania 21, one of the greatest technical matches of all time. 3, the triple threat of Mania 39 for the IC title, Sheamus, Gunther, Drew. Seeing that live in person, that by far is probably the greatest triple threat I've seen live. One of the greatest matches I've seen live. 4, Rhea versus Charlotte. I was there for that too live. That was perfect as well. That literally wrote the wrongs of Mania 36, Money in the Bank 2021. This was a feel good moment for Rhea too. Just getting her lick back against Charlotte. Charlotte always having to swoop in, one up in her. This was the feel good moment for Rhea. And then number 5. Ooh, man, number 5. Let me think here, because there's been a lot of great matches. You know what? I'm going to say Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston, WrestleMania 35. I'm going to say that one. Like I said earlier, you know how hard it is to root against your GOAT? It's hard. It really is hard. Because everybody in the world is beyond Kofi Kingston. And just me having to make that decision of, am I going to root for Daniel Bryan or am I going to root for Kofi Kingston? I ultimately had to root for the underdog in this match. Honorable mentions, I will say the triple threat for the IC title at WrestleMania 34, Rollins, Balor, Miz, an all-timer for the IC title, especially since Mania 34 was really, really shitty. That opening the match started a good way for the show, but then the show ended up being just a stinker. But that was a great way to kick off Mania. Rollins getting his Grand Slam moment. And then another match, I'm going to have to say maybe AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon from WrestleMania 33. That was another great opener that I loved. We thought that match was going to stink, but that ended up being one of the best matches on the card. That man, Shane, when given the keys, when given the green light, he could go toe-to-toe with some of the greats. We've seen it with Shawn Michaels. We've seen it with Kurt Angle. We've seen it with everybody. Shane McMahon is an underrated hooper. But yeah,
when Shane's locked in, when Shane is locked in, like, you can expect the unexpected from him. Like, he'll put on a good ass match. He'll have the wildest moments, and we talked about it earlier. Like, it's crazy. As decorated as AJ Styles is, his best Mania match is from Shane McMahon. And it's crazy because Shane McMahon is not a wrestler. The nigga is not even a wrestler. Like, he didn't grow up wrestling. Like,
he was a referee when he first started out, right? He was a referee.
And then, he went on to be Vince's bitch ass little son and everything. But
the spoiled brat son, yep, the whole cliche.
He's put it on, like I said, put it on good ass matches with Kurt. And
right,
then
the King of the Ring match?
Right.
Oh, Mitri said his top 5, Rock and Hogan, solid. Edge versus McFoley, very solid. Taker HBK 25, that was a given. TLC 2.
Yeah, real good. All 1 and 2 was good. The one at SummerSlam 2000 was real good.
Mhm.
With me was I feel like Rock and Hogan was good match, nostalgia really, because you have the right now person, which is The Rock, and you have Hogan who carried the company from the start. And it was great because that's when Hogan had turned back face again.
Mhm.
Edge and Mick Foley is probably one of the craziest matches I've seen ever. And I didn't expect it because I didn't think Edge was, that hardcore like that. We know how Mick Foley is. I literally watched last week I had watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode when they were talking out the whole Hell in a Cell thing, and nigga was talking crazy as fuck. Like, yo, you know what you wanted to do. I understand, like, this is a Hell in a Cell match, but like, people sign up for this, and it's like you've been like this your whole life trying to be Jericho. Like, your whole ear got ripped off by something. And what's crazy is that could have went like a different way. Like, he literally could have died from that shit. He has so many injuries from it. And
I forgot where. I think it was Edge talking about it on that little podcast on Inside the Ropes or whatever. How like he literally had skin burning off him, like clothes were burnt and everything. Like just taking that risk, like because I remember this. He cashes in on Cena. He ends up losing to Cena a couple weeks later. They were telling him he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He's like, all right, bet. If I'm not ready, I'm going to show you I'm ready. So he went with the Mania match with Mick Foley, the little feud, proved to everybody that he was ready. Then several months later, once RVD cashed in on Cena, and then they had that triple threat, Edge won. Edge proved to them, hey, I can hold my own.
Of course, Edge. As much as he's hated on for, well, you know what he's doing right now, you gotta respect what he's done for
That's
the
why
business.
he's in my top 10 favorites all time. One of my favorite wrestlers ever. That's like literally one of the wrestlers I first started watching when I started getting into WWE. This was like during 2010 when he became when he was a little heel and he was like siding with Chris Jericho a little bit. It was after like Mania 26 or whatever. Like he turned on Christian. He had that little heel stick.
Christian. Speaking of Christian, that first singles Christian thing was hard, bro. Christian, that bit was hard.
it's funny because literally our top Mania matches are probably better than what WWE is creating. So if y'all don't know, WWE is doing their whole
The whole 40, I think, 40 matches or something like that. Was it 50 or 40?
It was 50.
Oh my
50?
god, that shit is so stupid. I don't. It can't be in order. It can't.
Bro, they put Rhea and Charlotte, which don't get me wrong, love the match. They put that over and the Venera Hell in the Cell.
No, I'm
They
sorry.
put
What?
Rock and Cena very low as well too. I think they put Rock and Cena at like the 30s or like the 40s or something like that. It's like, what are we doing?
They had They had HBK and Kurt 21, 22?
Something like that. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I'm trying to see what the number one is or the top 10. No, matter of fact, the top 10. I want to see the top 10. Because what we are going to do, and we're going to do this as a video, which is coming soon. Once that full list drops, we're all going to get together and we're going to rank it. Like, we're going to review it together. We're going to go through the whole thing and we're going to review it. But it's time to do the tier list.
Speaking about the way, I got that NBA, bro. We can run that bit after stream if you want.
Yes, sir. We definitely will. But we're going to do this tier list here. Yayo had to step out for a little bit. Same with DZ, but they said they will be back. So let's just get a head start with us for 3.
That's for sure. Hey, bro, I want to speak my piece on a certain Mania. So when we get to
all right, ladies and gentlemen. So we got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. As per usual. So we got Manias 1 all the way up into 40. So I say we just start off obviously from 1, then to 2, then to 3, then to 4. Not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I really remembered what was on Mania 1, what was on Mania 2, 3, 4. So I got to jog my memory a little bit. If I have to look some things up, I will. So let's just get right into it. So Mania number 1.
I feel like
Mania number 1.
if it's the first Mania, I feel like I think it deserves like middle of the pack, like a B or C. I don't remember much from it, but it's just the first Mania.
Honestly, Chris is right. It should be in the middle of the pack of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I
without
think
this event, without this event right here being a success, we don't get this right here. We don't get literally all of these right here. And I'm pretty sure the main event of that was like Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus like Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper, something like that.
Here, I can give you. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up the card.
Also, to the viewers that are watching, like if you know some of the matches that happened earlier in these cards or these earlier manias, just let us know so we could just jog our memories.
Let's see here. Mania 1 we had Tito Santana versus the Executioner. King Kong Bundy took on Special Delivery Jones.
Who the fuck is Special Delivery Jones?
That's a Ricky Steamboat defeated Matt Bourne. Who Brutus Beefcake defeated David Sammartino. Junkyard Dog defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yeah,
the Iron Sheik. Hey, shout out Sheiky baby. And Nikolai Volkov defeated the U.S. Express. Oh yeah, I remember this match. The Body Slam Challenge. Yes, that's where this match is from.
Andre the Giant and Big John Studd?
Because it was in 2K14, I think.
2K14, yup. All right. I'm fine just putting that at B. I'm fine just putting that at B.
I can pull up the Mania. I can pull up any card I need to.
Mania 2, if I'm not mistaken, didn't that have King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan in the steel cage?
Look, I'm going to give that a D only because I've seen the vision. Because that was the Mania where they had it at the different unions.
Oh, like the different.
Oh yeah, this
whatever,
was
like
the one
New York, LA, and stuff like that. Yeah, we were just talking about that on the pod, the other pod. Just good job, shout out to them.
Yeah,
Mr. T was on this bitch.
Yeah, because he had the boxing match with fucking
Roddy Piper.
That shit was a disaster. That shit was a fucking disaster. Crazy, but really, bro, 2 out of the 3 so-called main events were basically duds, bro, and the rest of the card was really forgettable. So,
because if we're over here having to Google this right now because we're not really certain and we're not really remembering, I'm gonna put that D. Because I don't really hear that many people talk about, WrestleMania 2. Oh my God, WrestleMania 2 is amazing. Don't hear nobody say that.
Mania 3.
Mania 3, obviously, I know one of the matches.
I think this
or
gets
2
a
of the
C.
matches.
I think this gets a C or a B.
Macho
Man versus
I'm gonna say B, just basically
because of the iconic moment.
And they also had Randy versus
Steamboat.
Hey, bro, shut up, Steamboat, bro. Steamboat, bro. Gotta show him some respect.
So I'm willing to give this a B right here. If I'm not mistaken, too, what was on that card?
It was the Hogan Body Slam.
The Hogan Body Slam, Macho versus Steamboat. What else was on that card?
No, I don't think anything of importance, actually.
Wasn't Ted DiBiase on that?
Yeah.
Oh, they had little people on the card. I think that was pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. You said I'm not seeing Ted DiBiase. Dude, looking at these matches, but I can see why they are all bad. None of them were like over 10 minutes, dude. I'd like to.
Yeah, I say, you know what? We put Mania 3 at B just based off the moments and based off that being like one of the more successful Manias after Mania 1. So I'll put it B. I'll put it B. A lot of people are gonna be like, oh, it should be ranked lower because it's older, but nah. 3 had iconic moments that led to Because people forget too, like that wasn't the first time Hulk Hogan ever body slammed or picked up Andre the Giant. That was just that was just on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I mean, you got over 78 to 93,000, they say, at the Silver Dome. Yeah,
Yeah, like the tweaked numbers.
Yeah. Oh no.
So yeah, I'll put it
It was a
B.
fine Mania. It was fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
Now Mania 4. So that I think wasn't that like the
This
tournament?
This was pretty fucking terrible. I can't lie. I did not enjoy this Mania at all. This shit was buttons.
Wasn't the finals like Randy Savage versus Teddy DiBiase or something like that?
Because Hogan literally got DQ'd because I don't know actually.
That's not good at all. Yeah, I can't really remember what happened. I just remember the finals or like of the match or the tournament.
Put that bit in F tier, bro. Put that bit in F tier, bro. Stop playing, bro. This shit was ass.
Yeah, let's put that F tier. Well, I mean,
The only good thing about it was the right person won the title.
True.
Which was Randy Savage.
But
I feel like it just took too long to really get there.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing was probably the only good thing about it. It kind of like set up everything for Mania 5, which you see the whole. Well, we'll get to that. But.
So Mania 5, 89. What happened on this one?
This was Hogan versus Randy.
That was the Mega Powers thing between Randy and Hogan.
That's right. Mega Powers. Wasn't that Andre the Giant versus... Did Andre the Giant face somebody in this Mania, if I'm not mistaken? Who was it? Was it a tag team match?
It was Jake Roberts.
Jake Roberts. All right.
You're not going to lie. Besides that match, I give you a C because besides that match, really the rest of the card was forgettable or downright bad. That shit was.
We'll do C. We'll do C for Mania 5. I think that's fair. I think that is fair. Now this is when we start getting into like the more better Mania. So we got Mania 6. We got Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior.
Other than that, match, there's nothing really memorable, I don't think. I think this gets a C too.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I will put that as a C because the only match I do really remember from this was the main event. The big hyped up main event. Like the two ultimate baby faces going toe to toe. So yeah, we'll put that as C. If we have to go back, we'll go back and look at it. WrestleMania 7. Oof.
This was pretty bad.
7 was 91. This was to start a Taker streak. This was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. Oh god.
This was pretty bad. Holy shit.
Hulk Hogan and fucking Sergeant Slaughter as the main event.
Bro, you better put some respect on Sergeant Slaughter's name, Maggie.
Sergeant Slaughter was the Iraqian.
Yeah, he turned heel.
I forgot he switched up on America.
Yeah.
And it made no sense because the whole Gulf War thing, literally, it had ended like a month before the whole.
Not a good idea.
The undercard was actually not too bad. I mean, you had the Hart Foundation against the Nasty Boys, the Rockers versus Haku and the Barbarian. You had I'd put it at a B, C. I put it at a C.
C? We could put it at C. I feel like that's in the middle.
I mean, you also had the whole the post match from the retirement match between Randy and the Ultimate Warrior, where Sensational Sherry came out, was beating Randy, and then Miss Elizabeth came and helped him. Like that was a feel good moment.
All right, yeah, I say putting it as C is actually reasonable because it's right there in the middle with that Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior moment. I think that saves everything. So yeah, we'll put that as C. Now Mania 8, that was 92. Wasn't that Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship, if I'm not
That was
mistaken?
that was Mania 12. You a few
That was
years
12.
ahead.
That was Mania 10.
This was Hogan versus Justice.
Oh, I'm thinking of SummerSlam or something. I don't know. They had a match in '92. I know Bret and Shawn had a match in '92 for the IC title. I'm losing it, but not. Yeah.
They fucked up with this shit because really it should have been the main event should have been Randy Savage and Ric Flair, but I think it ended up being a whole main event, and the main event was awful because the final match ended with a DQ, and it was like the missed time interference by Papa Shingo. And then you had the missed time help from the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Mania 8, that's really forgettable. I'm putting that probably D. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, the Bret Hart and fucking Roddy Piper IC title match. That shit was
That's
bad.
what it was, the Roddy. Because I think it was like I get confused with older things, but yeah, that's what it was. Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. Yeah, we definitely could put that in D tier. That's like the only memorable match that was good.
All right.
Now we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. Now we're going
F.
to WrestleMania 9.
F.
Yeah.
This shit was terrible.
Throw that shit in the trash, man.
Yeah, that is deemed one of the worst manias of all time. We were just talking about this on the other pod the other day too. Like literally the only matches that were like, nah, I couldn't even tell you a solid match. Tigger Gonzalez ends in a DQ. You had the Head Shrinkers versus who was it again? It was just on 2K25. The Head Shrinkers versus
The Steiners, I think.
the Steiners. That's what it was. The Steiners. Yeah, Steiners. Then you had the really stupid finish of Yokozuna beating Bret, and then Hulk Hogan playing politicking his way in and beating Yokozuna.
Well, that's not gonna work for me, brother.
Literally the beginning of all of that. So
I guess the only good thing from it was this was the first Mania to be held like outdoors, and like
Man,
what they did for the 9, like it was great. Like the theme was great. You had the announce team theme, backstage crew, all that.
oh shit.
I mean the opening match was HBK and Tatanka, and that's probably a underrated. That match was underrated.
not with the fine match. I don't remember it being terrible. It was,
That was like a Chris Jericho and Fandango type of match.
Yeah, it was underrated, but it's not going to be remembered probably because the terrible finish. But yeah,
Matter of fact, this is when we start getting into great manias that we could put up at higher tiers. WrestleMania 10, I'm willing to put that A.
that was a great Mania.
The ladder match, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Bret versus Owen Hart, Bret versus Yokozuna, Yokozuna versus Lex Luger. What else happened at 10? What else happened at 10? I'm drawing a blank here. What happened at 10? But nonetheless, those matches itself deserve.
HBK and Razor Ramon probably
Yeah.
That's all. Nobody really thought they put on a great fucking match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna put 10 at A. That's fine with everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Now we go from a gray Mania in 10 to 11. Can 11? The main event? Correct me if I'm wrong. Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Am I right?
This is F. People literally say this is probably the worst fucking Mania of all time. Literally.
Wasn't this the same Mania that had Diesel versus Shawn Michaels in it?
Yeah.
And Diesel won?
And what's crazy, this was a double main event too. And it made no sense because this should have just been the actual main the main event. I mean, the title match was cool. It's just Diesel looked fucking dominant, but literally Bam Bam Bigelow carried Lawrence Taylor in the match. I guess it was the best celebrity match, not including Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, but the
Yeah.
undercard was terrible. You had Razor Ramon and Jeff Hardy. They were actually having. I mean, not Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett. They were actually having a match with finish. Bret Hart, Bob Backlund. Literally, freaking Bret Hart said that's probably his worst pay-per-view match he's ever had. Which makes sense.
Yeah, I'm putting that F. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, I'm gonna put that F. So now we're getting to Mania 12.
It's not. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna put that in D, probably because that was. You can put it D or F. It literally was a one match show. It was literally Bret Hart and HBK at.
So it was 96. Wasn't this the same match or same pay-per-view that had Undertaker versus Diesel?
Yeah.
All right. Let's put that D. I ain't gonna lie, let's put that D. All right, now we got Mania 13. I'm not gonna lie. Mania 13 with that match between Bret and Stone Cold, one of my favorite Mania matches ever.
Carried the card.
It did carry a lot because the main event we had Taker versus Psycho Sid.
I want you to say that one more time. Taker and Psycho Sid in the main event.
Not good. What other matches were on Mania 13? Let me look it up.
This Mania pay-per-view was short. Like, I think this is probably one of the shortest WrestleManias they had, and you could probably say this was a one-match show too, because Stone Cold and Bret Hart. I mean, I forgot who was in that Chicago street fight, but that one was actually good too. But
So let's look at it. Headbangers defeated a bunch of jobbers nobody knows about. Rocky Maivia defeated the Sultan, so Rocky defeats Rikishi for the Intercontinental Championship. Hunter Hearst Helmsley defeats Goldust. Owen Hart and the British Bulldog versus Mankind and Vader. Okay. Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom defeat the Nation of Domination. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Probably
put it C. C.
D.
Yeah.
I'll put a C just cause that Stone Cold and Bret Hart match literally carried. And that was a really, really, really strong match. So I'll say C. Well, yeah, C. Now, Mania 14. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus HBK in the main event. Really good match.
Hey, kudos to HBK because literally maybe a few months before he had that casket match with Taker at the Royal Rumble, and literally he fucked up his whole back. And I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, man, check your Discord in. I gotta ask you something.
Gutsy performance for HBK. That's why I think he's one of the best of all time because he got a major back injury, and you put over Stone Cold. Stone Cold solidified himself that night as the top guy. The Rock and Ken Shamrock, that IC title match was good. Top rising stars. Before I don't know what happened to Ken Shamrock, I thought he was going to be good.
Mania 14. This is the pay-per-view where it was Undertaker and Kane, right?
Yeah, like their first big Mania match.
All right, so we got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus HBK. We had Taker versus Kane, which was a really good match. Rocky versus Ken Shamrock. Okay. What was the other match? Wasn't it Didn't Yokozuna wrestle in this match? Didn't he team up with Owen Hart?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I can't lie.
You know who actually had a decent match on that card? Freaking, it was a mixed tag team match between Sable and Marco Miro, and they beat Goldust and fucking Luna.
Luna Vachon? Yeah. You know what? Mania 14? I'm willing to put the B.
Yeah.
Put a B. Mania 14 was solid. Mania 14 was solid. Mike Tyson being the special guest referee between HBK and Stone Cold. Can't get even better than that. All right. So now we're getting to WrestleMania 15. So this was the first encounter between Stone Cold and The Rock.
Oh, I did forget something on Mania 14. Fucking Taker and Kane.
Taker and Kane. Yeah. We mentioned that. So yeah, that's definitely going B. But for Mania 15, so we got Stone Cold and The Rock, their first encounter. I think this was still Undertaker, Big Boss Man.
Oh Lord, that I didn't like that only because that was a crazy time in wrestling. The nigga literally got hung.
Yeah, that I mean, it was a solid Hell in a Cell match. It wasn't like one of the best. It was decent, I guess you could say. I'm gonna look at the card real quick. You had Jacqueline defeat Ivory. You had Hardcore Holly defeating Billy Gunn for the hardcore, or in the Al Snow. You had Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett defeat D'Lo Brown and Test. Butterbean knocking out Bart Gunn. Okay.
Oh, what's crazy? I think that was a brawl for all fucking boxing match. That literally ended a wrestler's career. Like
Yep.
not health wise, but credibility. Because
Credibility. Yep.
probably one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
Shane McMahon defeated X Pac.
Yeah, a lot of those matches were literally like last second.
There's a lot of disqualification on this.
Yeah, that too. I know there was like multiple heel turns as well. It was. I'd probably give it a D.
D.
I'm not gonna lie. That show kind of. It probably showed one of the best. It showed the good and the bad from the Attitude Era, really.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now we're getting into 2000s right now. So obviously off the bat, WrestleMania 2000. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna give it.
No, that shit was terrible. Bro.
It pisses me, bro. It pisses me off because you could say 2000 was arguably the best year from that company. They had literally one of the most talented rosters. Literally every pay-per-view from that year, like, delivered. And the one show that didn't deliver was Mania 2000. The card was was crazy. The only one-on-one in that show was a cat fight between Terry Reynolds and the cat. Shit is trash, bro. I mean, you had the triangle ladder match.
Yeah, you had the TLC match.
Edge, Christian, Hardy Boys, and Dudley's. Mm-hmm. That match was good. You had a triple threat match between Chris Breezy, Kurt, and Jericho. Great. The whole like leading into it, you had fucking Mick Foley retired literally a month before the show, and
Oh yeah, with the whole Royal Rumble match between Triple H and Mick Foley. Yep, and then Linda McMahon called them back out, and it was the Four Corners match with the McMahons, which had the wrong winner. Should have been The Rock. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna give it the benefit. Since we have that TLC match on there, I'm gonna put it E. I'll put it D. I don't necessarily think it's a horrible Mania, but it's like literally bottom tier. Y'all agree with that, or
Yeah, that's fine.
that's fine? All right. Mania 17.
S tier. S tier.
S tier.
Do we even need to get into specifics about that? Do we even need to get into specifics? Because
You
the
had
main
you
event.
had Rock Austin 2 and probably their best match of all time. Vince McMahon probably put his best match ever in his in-ring career against his son.
Mhm.
You had Kurt Angle, Chris Breezy. They showed out. Yeah. What? Oh, was it the whole hardcore match? Chris had said it in the Juiced Up Jobbers podcast that was one of his favorites.
Raven versus Big Show versus Kane.
That match was real good, and we don't talk about it. It's crazy. That could have had ended as one of the most unmemorable manias of all time because of what fucking Tommy Dreamer was trying to do.
Oh yeah, if you know, you know. That's
No, hold on, I'm tweaking. I forgot what he did, man.
So
he basically threatened.
basically when in 2001 ECW had filed for bankruptcy and everything. So basically, Paul Heyman had owed Tommy Dreamer like hella money, and he kind of felt disrespected because it's like, damn, bro, everything that I did for you, and he basically told Paul Heyman had told Tommy Dreamer like, yeah. I'm gonna get shit situated. I'm gonna get you your money, this and that and the third. Next thing you know, Paul Heyman goes to WWE, and Tommy Dreamer felt great, and he was basically like, my plan is I'm gonna be up front row, shoot and kill you, and kill myself right after. Luckily, damn, Jen Ross had told Tommy Dreamer, literally, Jim Ross had told Tommy Dreamer, gave him a voicemail. Oh, we he had said, "Oh, we haven't forgot about you. We gonna make sure you get a roster spot." That literally saved everything.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Jim Ross was legend. Yeah, that would have been.
Fucking imagine. I'm like, what?
That would have been horrible. But no, yeah, WrestleMania 17 easily S tier. We don't even have to get into specifics. All we have to say is the main event, the TLC ladder match. Perfect. WrestleMania 18.
I'm
I'm gonna
not
that
gonna
A
lie.
tier.
This is a good
Yeah, I'm gonna go A tier. Like, really, that whole run from 17 to 19, like that whole thing. I don't think nothing was bad here on this card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had Icon versus Icon. You had Rock versus Hogan.
Good match.
I thought Triple H and Jericho was going to be way better. It kind of. Yeah, I definitely don't. I gotta look back at this card. 'Cause
18, I know it was Rock Hogan. You had, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I do remember. RVD, William Ringo in that IC title match. That one was good. Yeah,
Triple H and Jericho.
That was the Edge and Booker T match where it was supposed to be the hair versus hair match
because they were feuding over a shampoo bottle. I think it was the Four Corners tag team match too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got a question down here. Shout out to the homie Enigma. He said, "Which WrestleMania do you think had the best Money in the Bank match?" Man,
probably 23.
I like 25.
That one was underrated. I think I would say
I'm gonna say the first one. I'm gonna say the first one. I like the first one. 21.
I say 23 because of who was all a part of that Money in the Bank. You had Edge, Matt, Jeff, Randy, Mr.
24 was good.
Who else was in it? Was it Booker T in that Money in the Bank match?
For WrestleMania 23, because I remember it was Edge, Jeff, Mr. Kennedy, Ric Flair. I think Matt Hardy was in it.
No, Ric Flair was in 22.
It was 22. That's what it was. 22. Yeah, I'm gonna say 21. I'm definitely gonna say 21. Yeah, John Morrison and Sean Benjamin were the MVPs of 24. Yeah, they stole the show. But yeah, let's get right back into this. So 18, yeah, I'm gonna put 18 at A tier. I feel like still a lot of solid matches. I don't think it was better than 17, but you still had a really good card. You had obviously the main event, Rock and Hogan. You had the Four Corners tag team match. I think Billy and Chuck. Hold on, I gotta look up this card again because I forgot who they fought.
It was the Dudleys, Dudleys and APA.
APA. All right. Look at the card because I know
you had Taker and Ric Flair, and that build-up was kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. How Taker did fucking Ric Flair's son David, like.
You had Jazz and Trish. You had Jazz versus Trish Stratus and Lita. You had
Stone Cold versus Scott Hall, which
Kurt Angle versus Kane. Undertaker versus Ric Flair. Diamond Dallas Page versus Christian. Yeah, Mania 18. Let's put that A. Let's put that A.
2002 was a weird year for WWE. I'm not gonna lie, because it was good, but it had its bad moments. You know, with the whole. Well, it started the Ruthless Aggression era, but you had the whole Stone Cold thing and everything. Yeah, it was kind of.
It was weird, but it was like.
Ooh. Up next, we got 19.
This might be A or S. This was a really good video.
It's one of the two.
Let's break it down. So we had Triple H and Booker T. We had Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. Yeah, we don't talk about Triple H and Booker T. That was a horrible booking decision. We had Rock and Stone Cold for the last time ever.
And that was Dang, yeah, that's a good ass. Matt Hardy, Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight title.
Jericho versus Shawn Michaels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they put on a 30-minute clinic, bro. This is fucking basically HBK's first Mania match back since everything.
Yup, since the back injury and the feud with Triple H.
Taker was this Taker, Big Show, and A-Train. Yeah, that was
with Nathan Jones. Yeah, that's the only one of the only downsides of that thing, of the whole pay-per-view.
Hogan, Mr. McMahon. That match was fucking crazy.
That was crazy of a match,
bro. The one thing I really remember from that match is when what was it? Either Hogan or Vince had grabbed the chair and hit the Spanish what's his name? Hugo Slamovich, something like that. How that nigga fell after he took that bump might be one of the funniest fucking things ever.
Yo, that is actually insane right here.
That's crazy.
Nah, because it took him so long to get that pin, and he still got the pin. That's still those are the only two things of Mania 19 that I tax. An Undertaker match versus Big Show and A-Train and Nathan Jones, and then Triple H defeating Booker T. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If y'all aren't on the same page, I'm gonna put it A.
I'll put it A.
Because we can't deny Kurt
thing, and then the Triple H Booker T kind
of knocks it down a notch. Because you got Kurt and Brock as the main event, can't get any better than that. So yeah, we'll put 19 at A. Now we getting into the nitty gritty of things, like the good stuff. So Mania 20.
A tier. I think it's A tier again. As I've said throughout this whole fucking stream, you have the triple threat match between HBK, Triple H, and Chris Breezy. I mean, literally, the final image of the show was fucking Eddie Guerrero and Chris Breezy hugging it out, crying, confetti falling on them. Like, it basically showed proof that your guys can actually win. And you had the Rock and Sock connection
versus Evolution.
That match was good. That was literally Rock's final match before he went to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You had
You had Eddie and Kurt. That was a given right there.
You had Christian and Jericho, and that match was actually underrated. And what's crazy, that match is literally forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You had Cena versus Big Show. Cena's first, championship win. What else was on there? Oh, you had Taker and Kane. I mean, that match wasn't better than the '98 match.
I mean, it was the return of the dead man.
The return of the dead man from the American Badass and all, Yeah, I say Mania 20 is gonna be A. Y'all on board with that?
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Bet. 21.
I'm saying A tier as well.
I might put lean a little bit more towards S because they got Kurt versus Shawn on there, but at the same time, let's run down the list real quick.
You could put it S tier. I'm not gonna lie. You had Randy and Taker, which that match was crazy because that was the first time where I literally had thought Taker was gonna lose because I thought they were gonna put over Randy in that match, and that whole RKO reverse from the choke slam, that shit was crazy. You had the inaugural
Money in the Bank match.
Which was
you had Eddie versus Ray, Batista versus Triple H. You had Cena winning his first WWE Championship against JBL. What was the United States title match? Do you remember?
I think it was. I feel like it has something to do with Mr.
Breezy.
Yeah, Mr. Breezy.
I think it was either Breezy versus Booker T, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me go. Nah, it actually wasn't him. What was Actually, they didn't have a U.S. title match.
Oh, I'm losing my mind, bro. Breezy was in the ladder match.
I would put it at S. The only reason I have it at A was the whole fucking sumo match between Big Show and whatever his name was.
As soon as you said that, I just saw the match pop up as number 7 on here. Yeah, we're putting this A. We got to put it A.
This was a great Mania.
Yeah, it was put in A. But that is an all-timer Mania. I ain't gonna lie. 22. So 2006. This was the main event: John Cena versus Triple H.
This was another good Mania.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely it's an underrated Mania. Like,
I'd put it B if anything.
Yeah, I feel like you had the stuff that stand out. You had the Mick Foley and Edge hardcore match. I feel like Mickey James and Trish Stratus. That was probably one of the best, if not the best, women's match. Pre-women's revolution. Like, nobody really talks about that match before.
You had Taker versus Mark Henry in the casket match.
Yeah.
Triple threat: Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle.
Great. And I love that, bro. That match is so underrated as well. I didn't like it because it went too short. Like Ray won that shit in less than 10 minutes. Like that match should at least got 15 minutes.
On Silver.
So, where would y'all put it? Because I'm feeling B.
Yeah, I would put B.
Yeah, that's fine.
What made it better was the Triple H's entrance. That entrance was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it B. I think B is reasonable. Now we're going to 23. Yeah, I remember that too. The pinfall. That was one of the more forgettable Taker matches at Mania. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily the worst Taker match, but forgettable.
23. 23 is definitely an underrated one, I would say.
So 23, what did it have? It had Cena versus Shawn. It had Mr. Kennedy winning Money in the Bank. It had the Battle of the Billionaires, so Bobby Lashley versus Umaga.
That shit was dumb, bro. Fucking Donald Trump on Mania, bro.
Nah, I love Stone Cold stunning him. I love it.
That was definitely that was an underrated fucking that was an underrated Mania. I'm not gonna lie.
Taker Batista.
And I love that match. That it's not their best match, but
It's underrated as hell. That
it's underrated as fuck.
You know what? I'm leaning towards putting Mania 23 at B because that honestly was an underrated Mania. The Money in the Bank, the Undertaker Batista match, the ladder match.
I forgot what else was on this card. Oh, they had the whole was it the ECW, the fucking originals against the whole Newbury thing.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I think it was Kane and Great Khali. That match was ass as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Kane and Great Khali, that was super forgettable.
Yeah.
Great Khali, bro. What are we doing?
Chris Breezy versus MVP for the U.S. title. That match.
That's what I was thinking of. I got those pay-per-views confused. All right. So yeah, I'm in agreement that we're putting it in B.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right.
Yep.
Now we got Mania 24 because I'm leaning towards A. I ain't gonna lie. Because was looking at it this way. So we got Edge and Taker as the main event, phenomenal main event. You had the Money in the Bank ladder match. What else did we have on there? I'm pretty sure. Then we have JBL versus like Finley or something like that.
That match was kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, they went crazy.
Wasn't it called like a Belfast brawl match or whatever?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that they cooked with that. I'm not gonna lie, they did cook with that.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say B or C. I'm not gonna lie. It had its matches, but I feel like the rest of the card is kind of forgettable. Yes, you have Taker and Edge, and then you have Ric Flair and HBK, great match, and then you have the ladder, you have the Money in the Bank match. But I feel like the rest of the show is forgettable. The battle for brand supremacy, Batista and Umaga. The only thing I liked from that shit was he threw the trash can lid dead at
the lid. Yeah,
that's nasty. But yeah, the memorable thing from that Batista Umaga thing was literally Batista's entrance. That shit was great. Yeah, the fucking short ass Kane, fucking Chavo Guerrero shit.
Oh yeah, the 8-second match.
I didn't fuck with Cena the triple threat match. I feel like it was
weird. Because wasn't that during the time too where Cena fought Randy at the pay per view before Mania, using his Royal Rumble win or his like match? You
Yeah.
know. Yeah, that was kind of weird to me. I'm not gonna lie, but oh yeah, we have Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show.
So, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'm backtracking what I said. We're gonna put that B. We're gonna put that B. Chris coming back here. Let's see. Nah. All right. Yeah. I guess we're in agreement. We'll put it B. All right. Now Mania 25.
Yeah. I'd probably say C. Only it. Like I said, you had HBK and Taker basically. Yeah, HBK and Taker basically steal they basically stole the show. You had the boring ass. You had the boring ass Triple H and Orton match. Uh, the Money in the Bank match was. I will say the Money in the Bank match was actually I fuck with it. It was real good. It was underrated as fuck.
You
Uh,
had
the 25 Divas Battle Royal where Santina won that shit. That shit had no point of being on there.
didn't you have Chris Jericho versus like Roddy Piper,
All
Snuka,
the
and Ricky? Yeah.
all the fucking old niggas.
You had Edge versus Big Show versus Cena too.
Which that made no sense. You might as well. You should have just. I don't think it should have been a triple threat. It should have just been a one-on-one with Edge and Cena.
Yeah, Big Show is the polar bear in Arlington, Texas.
You had Ray and JBL. I think that's when JBL retired and shit. It was.
Yeah, and then what else? You had. Oof.
Yeah, you had Jeff and Matt in the Extreme Rules match. I mean,
Carlito and Primo versus Miz and Morrison.
I think that was the damn pre-show and shit.
Oh, that was
too.
the pre-show. Damn.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's put a C. I'm in agreement with C. How about you, Chris? What you thinking?
For
See?
24 or 25? Oh, 25. That's fine.
Yeah, actually, matter of fact, what's your thoughts on 24? Where were you put 24? Because we were thinking, I said A at first. Deontay said B or C.
I think B is fine, but I wouldn't oppose it being an A. It's interchangeable for me.
Put it B.
That's
Put
fine.
it B. Yeah. All right, we're going to Mania 26. So Mania 26, Cena Batista, HBK Taker, career versus streak.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about this because, I mean,
There was some duds on this. I'm not gonna lie. You had Jack Swagger winning Money in the Bank. You had Chris Jericho defeating Edge, which I think
So
Edge
we
should
ain't
have won.
we ain't rocking with Jack 1-2. Oh yeah, we ain't rocking with that.
Hell no.
that they had the unified tag team match between Big Show, Miz, and Morrison and R-Truth, which was was Randy versus Cody and Ted DiBiase, which was.
It's all right.
I mean, situation Sheamus, it was decent. It could have been better. Ray and CM Punk was good.
You had Vince and Brett.
That shit was. That shit
didn't happen.
Then they had the women's match with Michelle McCool, Layla, Maurice, Alicia Fox, and Vicky versus fucking Beth Phoenix, Mickey James, Kelly, Eve Torres, and Gail Kim. Oh, brother.
I'm probably putting this. I ain't gonna lie. I'm putting this C. I'm gonna put it C. I don't know about y'all, but I'm putting this C.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right.
This one dark as fuck.
27.
I'm probably putting it. Yeah, F tier.
F.
Yeah, not even Triple H and Taker could have saved it. Even Punk and Randy. I mean, yeah, Punk and Randy. Yeah. Next one, 28.
I'm putting it.
Oh shit! Ricky won the belt.
He did?
From what I'm reading in these discords, yeah.
Oh shit.
Hang already?
I mean, it's Ridge Holland with the title.
Ricky won. Good shit.
Man, we love Ricky, man. Ricky Starks. That one dude from SmackDown. Oh, Ricky got it, man.
Bro, did y'all hear about freaking it was the damn Hawks, it was the Hawks and Blazers game. So they had went to damn timeout and shit. So you know how in the middle of timeouts they be doing games and shit. So they had did a basketball tic-tac.
I saw
Bro, Buddy
that just popped up on Twitter.
Buddy really, I think Buddy tore his ACL, bro. Buddy ACL is gone.
I think he did. I think he tore that.
But yeah, back to what we were talking about. Mania 28. I think I'm giving it a S tier as well. I feel like it's a.
Ooh.
I'm not S. I'll probably give it A. I think it's a top 10. I think it's a top 10. I think it's a top 10 Mania.
Let's break it down real quick. So let's see. We got Randy and Kane. We got Chris Jericho and CM Punk. That was a really solid match. Obviously, once in a lifetime.
I feel like the Punk and Jericho match is really, it's overshadowed. It's really overshadowed. And then how they did Daniel Bryan.
We don't talk about that.
What are you talking about?
Brian losing in 18 seconds. We don't talk about that.
Talk about what?
Oh yeah, what are we? Yeah, what? I'm willing to put it either B or A. I ain't gonna lie.
I think A. I mean, once in a lifetime, you have a 5-star match between Triple H and Taker. I think what was it? Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes
Big
and
Show.
Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
It was all right.
I guess yeah. I mean, Randy and Kane. I think that was around the time where people really hated Kane. I'm not gonna lie. PG era. Well, what was it? 2011, 2012 Kane. Yeah, that came to 2017. It was. I'm not gonna lie. I hated it. They had the whole the Raw versus SmackDown, match. Was it Team Teddy and
Team Teddy versus Team Johnny or whatever. Yeah. You know what? I say we put it A. Just because of they had the two greatest matches. One of the two greatest matches in Mania history.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. So let's put it A. 29. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
This is
The only thing that was saving this match, this match. The only thing that was saving this whole pay-per-view was the CM Punk and Taker match.
Yeah,
and
it was.
arguably Triple H and Brock Lesnar. Arguably.
I'm not gonna lie. They had a match, and I feel like the Punk and Taker match literally overshadowed what Triple H and Brock Lesnar did. I mean, they had a good ass brawl. The feud was good. You know, Triple H returned from Brock Lesnar doing what he did at
SummerSlam.
and then he came back like buzz cut. And I'm not gonna lie, that brawl was fucking good. And the match was good. It was just Triple H, the ice and everything. Rock and Cena was didn't need to happen. It literally it definitely didn't live up to you know, their match before, and I had heard like The Rock was hurt. Like I think he had tore his abdominal and abductor muscles off the bone,
Mhm.
like suffered a hernia. Like nigga, what the fuck? Uh, the Shield defeated Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus. I guess it was good. Crazy fucking Fandango had upset Chris Jericho. Thought that was gonna put him over, but
It didn't
Yeah,
help
man.
him whatsoever. But yeah, I'm gonna put Mania 29 at D. I'm not gonna lie, that was a very, very horrible WrestleMania. The next one, 30.
S tier. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got to put it at S tier. That was probably
I wouldn't put it S.
I wouldn't put it.
Put
I
it
wouldn't put
A
it-
though. I'm gonna give my reasoning. Okay, you got the main event, you got the opener, two great matches, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, and then obviously the triple threat that we mentioned earlier. You got Taker losing his streak to Brock, understandable. The John Cena Bray Wyatt match, it was cool.
good
Okay,
match. Wrong person won.
yeah, that's the only thing. That battle royal, the Andre the Giant battle royal was cool.
Real good.
Cesaro winning, that was really cool.
I didn't like the whole. I didn't like the Shield versus Kane, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn.
That was a
I can see it being A. Yeah.
What other matches am I forgetting on here? There's a
They
couple.
had, the only thing we missed was probably the Diva, the Vicky Guerrero Invitational.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
I can see it being A tier. Like I said, I will put it S tier because Daniel Bryan standing tall, which
It was fire.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one. That's obviously S tier, right?
yeah,
31. Yeah.
31's S tier. Do we even need to go in depth about that?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's already a given. 32.
I'm putting that F tier. I'm
That
not
shit
gonna
was-
lie. In my opinion, I feel like that's probably the worst Mania I've ever fucking seen.
Can we just talk about the drop off between 31 being like one of the greatest, well, being a top 10 Mania of all time, to seeing 32 a bottom 10 Mania of all time? That was tough. That was really rough.
It was long as fuck. It literally it was a 5-hour show. You can make it 7 counting the fucking kickoff and everything. But it was strange because it's like it was no need to make it that long. The main event was Roman and Triple H, and that was at the time where they're trying to experiment with Roman as the baby face. And yeah, the crowd was booing the fuck out of that shit. And that match was almost 30 minutes long.
Yeah, that match, like, it was cool in the beginning and then it just fell apart. Like, I'm sorry, that was probably one of the worst main events I've ever seen. But you had Undertaker and Shane in the Hell in a Cell. That was really good of a match.
It was more sad than exciting because of what Shane did. Like, I thought that nigga died.
He risked his life. Like, that's crazy. But then you also had the ladder match, the IC title ladder match.
Real good.
Really good. Really good.
It was a a heartfelt moment because you didn't expect Zack Ryder to win, and it didn't. It fucked up because literally he lost that shit the next night.
Yeah, that shit was foul. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit was really foul.
I thought the best match on this card was the triple threat match between Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. Great match. It was a head scratcher of a finish, only because really I feel like Sasha should have won that match. That was Sasha's night.
It really was.
It really was her night. So I ain't gonna lie. I will probably put a D just based off how good that match was, how good, how solid Chris Jericho and AJ was, the Hell in a Cell match, the IC title ladder match. I'll put a D. Do I think it is the worst WrestleMania ever? No, but it's still a bottom 10. It's not that great of a show. So I'm thinking D. What are y'all thinking?
I'm still look. I'm gonna put it at F only because it had like filler matches, like the whole League of Nations versus New Day shit. Like that shit didn't need to happen. You had Lesnar and Ambrose, which that
Yeah. You okay? You just made me think of something to do, and I'm gonna put it F because yeah, the hype for that match, the build up for that match, up there. The
and then
execution of that match, down there.
then you had Dwayne versus Eric Rowan in what
6 seconds.
I I wasn't fucking with it.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, let's move on. F tier, F tier. I don't even want to get into any more of that pay per view. Mania 33.
This is.
I'm gonna put a C.
I'm putting a C. Again, this show was way too fucking long. This show was way too long. Like it was, you count the pre-show, it was literally nearly like a 7 hour show.
If I do recall, because this was towards the end of spring break when I was in 10th grade, this show didn't end till like 12:30 in the next day, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't mind even putting it at fucking D tier, bro. Like it's like the whole Orton Wyatt match. They had the fucking bugs and shit. That shit didn't make sense. You had the depressing main event between Roman and Taker, which was slow, and I feel like you could tell Taker wasn't. Yeah, that Taker was KO and Jericho. I'm not gonna lie, it was disappointing.
Very
Despite
disappointing.
yeah, the build up. Lesnar and Goldberg basically trading finishers and everything. The only good things from this show was really Hardy's returning. I like that Naomi had captured the women's world title, the SmackDown title.
Mm-hmm. The
Another
fatal, the
moment,
fatal four way. I like the fatal four way with the women for the Raw Women's title. That was okay. That was solid.
really, AJ and Shane carried this whole damn show.
Because if you look at it this way, you had the stinker with Randy and Bray Wyatt. Then you had the main event that was a really big flop. Then you just had filler matches. So yeah, I'm gonna put this C. I'm gonna put it C.
I respect that.
Yeah, I know y'all would probably put a C too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, 34. Where are we putting that, ladies and gentlemen? Are we putting that S tier, or are we gonna put that F tier? Because I think it should be S tier now. I'm playing.
If you don't check nothing out, we stop. But not 34. Ass.
I'm not gonna lie, I will put 34. I'm gonna say this. I could put 34 D. The reason why I'm gonna put a D, the opening match, Seth Rollins versus Miz versus Balor, the cruiserweight title match, Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander. What else? You had a solid match with Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. That was solid. That I can't lie. That was
That was a good ass match, bro.
Mhm.
I don't care. That was a good ass match. That shit was fun as fuck.
That shit was good.
What's crazy about this show, like it was a lot of great wrestling on this shit. Charlotte and Asuka was great. The wrong person just won. The triple threat IC title match to open the show, real good. We had the great cuts from Cena on the front row, trying to pretend like he wasn't gonna wrestle, knowing he's probably gonna end up wrestling. I feel like a lot of the stuff that was like head scratchers was really both Asuka and Shinsuke not winning that night. Uh, Cena and Taker. I mean, it was nostalgia, but it was
But it
kind
was
of
it was a stinker.
it was awkwardly constructed, and then
Yeah.
of course, fucking main event that basically got booed out the damn building.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. For these next several ones, I think we could just speed run through them. I think they're pretty much givens. So let's just go right through them. WrestleMania 35. I'm saying either B or A.
I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna say B only because that shit was way too long. One,
Mhm.
two. The main event was kind of underwhelming. It had that shit was. That was first of all, this is the longest Mania that we ever seen. The
Yep,
only
this was the longest Mania of all time. It started at like 5 o'clock and it didn't end all the way to like 1 o'clock.
the good things that happened on this show was literally Kofi Mania. What else? The Seth match, Seth and Brock Lesnar, which I actually kind of fucked with. I mean, yeah, I fuck with it. Batista and Triple H it was cool. It was real cool. I hated kind of that. I hated that it had to be Batista's, way match. Now, I also forgot on WrestleMania 34, we had the tag team match with Braun Strowman and little ass kid.
Yeah, 35. I'm gonna say we put it B.
AJ Styles, Randy was underwhelming. That 4-way match for the SmackDown tag titles, it was decent. Shane and Miz was mid. The women's tag team 4-way match was mid as fuck. Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio is forgettable. Roman Drew, it was cool. Baron Corbin, Kurt Angle, we don't really give a fuck about that match. And then the Demon versus Lashley match I guess it was cool. The only thing I remember from that match was Finn Balor powerbombing Lashley. Yeah, that's literally it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I say we put it B tier. Y'all good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. 36 to 40. I feel like these are like you can just throw them wherever. 36.
I think that's C.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably putting a D.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a D because, like I said, with the circumstances and everything going on in the world, that was a very underwhelming Mania. Hey, they worked with what they had because there was a lot of stars that weren't on the card due to them being sick or protecting their health or not wanting to work it just due to the circumstances. Good matches off that card. Edge and Randy in the last man standing match, the Firefly Funhouse match,
Real
the
good.
triple threat ladder match for the tag titles. Drew and Brock was really good.
You had
Rollins and Kevin Owens.
You had fucking Goldberg and Braun. Oh man,
That match literally only lasted 4 minutes from what I heard or from what I saw.
Yo, it did that. Which it didn't make it no better because I mean Roman and Goldberg probably wasn't going to be a good match as well anyway. What else was in that match? That women's tag team match, Bliss and Cross versus
Sasha
Asuka
and Bailey, I
and
think. Oh, it was Asuka and Kyrie. Oh no, the Bailey match was like the elimination match, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was an elimination match. It's been a minute since I've seen 36. It's been a long ass time since I've seen
Yeah,
WrestleMania
yeah, it was
36.
the elimination match because it had Sasha, Lacey, Naomi, and Tamina. Fucking Rob Gronkowski and Mojo Rawley was in a 24/7 match. You had Otis and Dolph Ziggler, Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley, which I kind of forgot all about that fucking match.
Wasn't it like Rey Mysterio and somebody versus Andrade and Austin Theory? No, it was the Street Profits versus Andrade and Austin Theory, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. Rey
Charlotte
Mysterio.
and Rhea were the wrong person. Like, come on,
Yeah,
wrong person.
yeah. I'm gonna say put a D.
Me and Daniel Bryan, which I kind of actually like that match.
Brian and Zayn.
Becky, Shayna Baszler, wrong person won.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Elias and King Corbin.
Want to know what's crazy though? Becky literally pushed for Shayna to win, but Vince was like, "Nope."
That shows you how. That shows you how fucked up.
Vince is in the head.
Yeah. But yeah. We'll put Mania 36 up there.
I think that's fair.
All right. I want to wrap it up here real quick, so let's just run through these. Mania 37. I'm gonna say either A or B. I'm leaning towards more A though.
Yeah, I would say
A just basically Bianca Banks, the triple threat main event. Sheamus Matt Riddle, that was solid.
Cesaro Seth was real good.
Cesaro Seth was an underrated banger.
Tag match.
Bad Bunny tag match was probably arguably a top 5 match of the whole weekend.
I think the only reason, probably the only reason is probably like S tier. The Randy and the Fiend, that match was kind of, that's a what the fuck moment. Really.
Yeah, that was wrong winner, wrong booking, basically. Just shit the bed. But yeah, Mania 38. Not gonna lie. There's a little, well, I'm leaning towards A. The reason why I'm leaning towards A, the main event of night 2, that was a big stinker. And then you also had Shinsuke and Boogs facing the Usos in a throwaway match. Usos could have fought somebody a lot better, maybe like the New Day. Highlights: Bianca Becky, Seth and Cody of returning Cody Rhodes, Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville, Sasha and Naomi winning the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold Kevin Owens, like we mentioned earlier.
You could tell night 1 was way better than night 2. I feel like I think the best match on night 2 was literally Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
It was just crazy. And then I think night 2 it had Vince and that bullshit.
That's why I'm putting it A, just because of the whole thing with the Theory and Pat McAfee match.
And the main event of night 2, which Roman, which it kind of didn't. It was no need for that to be the main event. Everybody knew it was going to be the main event, but it was kind of underwhelming as well.
Mm-hmm.
Night 1 was way better because you had Bianca. That was the best match on that card, bro. Bianca and Becky Lynch was the best match on that card. Second, you could probably say Cody and Seth. They went crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking A is probably the best. It would have been S if it wasn't for the whole Vince McMahon and then the main event being a stinker. But the next 2, I'm pretty sure we could already say what they're going to be.
Both S.
Both S. Do we even need to get into it? Like, chef's kiss, near perfect manias. These two manias literally shaped what we are watching today. Great moments in 39, 40. 40, even though I had Jimmy and Jay,
Still a good Mania.
still was a really good Mania. Still was a really good Mania. Same with 39, even though I had matches like the four corner, the showcase tag matches or whatever, still solid Manias. And even though Finn Balor did lose to Edge, granted, still a great Mania. All right.
Agree.
Do we want to make any changes, or is this list perfect to y'all? Like everything good with this list
Looks good to me.
is good. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna post it on social media. See what people are thinking. I'm gonna send it in the Discord. I'm gonna post it on Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media may be. See what the people think. What we came up with. But yeah, W stream. Night one is officially complete, and I appreciate everybody that popped out, show out, gave love, gave support throughout this whole stream. It's been a minute since we've done a long stream like this. Get ready for night two next week because we got Wrestling Jeopardy on the way.
Sure.
We got these two right here that are going to be a part of it. Maybe your favorite creators that are not usually on the pod are going to be a part of it. Stay tuned. Got something cooking up this week. Stay tuned. But like as per usual, I will see everybody next week. Night two.